Okay, we're live. There it is. Listen, you get a little bit rusty. You stop for the summer, you get a little bit rusty with this podcasting stuff. But how you doing, Stan? I thought it'd be a good time. Now would be a good time in the summer to have a little bit of a dip back into the podcasting world. How you been?
Yeah, good. Enjoying the summer. Been I've been enjoying the World Cup, and I don't know. Do you remember me saying before, like I was, when we spoke about the World Cup, I was like, I'm not really into it. It just gets in the way of Arsenal stuff. Just gets in the
Yeah,
way. I've I've watched quite a lot of this World Cup. Surprised myself, and I suppose as well for me, it's on a reasonable time. A lot of the
there you go.
matches,
Exactly.
a lot of the time. And even if I'm at work, I can still keep up to date on what's going on. So yeah, I've been enjoying it, and it's been quite controversial. A lot's been happening, and one of the things I think is like that I was thought when I was watching it, because there's more teams in it now that come into the competition than before, right? All right, Alonso, good to see you.
Lonzo in the house. Lonnie first in the house.
And there was some people were saying like, oh, is it getting? It's too many. There's going to be a lot of teams in there that are just going to be quite chaff. They're just taking up the space.
Yeah.
And there's been certain games that have been coming up against certain opponents where they've go, oh yeah, this is going to be a 5-0 thrashing. And you look at a team like Cape Verde, for example. I mean, I've been to Cape Verde. It's not a big place.
Have you?
Yeah, I've been there on
Yeah.
holiday.
500,000, I think. Population 500,000.
And what I remember about it as well is there's something about it where everything there has to be imported. Whether it's butter, milk, meat, vegetables, there's nothing that actually comes from the land. There's nothing that's really like arable from there. Everything is imported. Because I was talking to like a lot of the people that worked on the resort and that. So it's a small place, and they've done very well. I mean, they
Yeah, they
managed
had
to take. They took
the
the world
moments, didn't they?
champions. They took the world champions to the edge of extra time. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. With that fantastic goal, he ran into the stands with it to see his partner,
you could.
wife,
That's the
or
sort of story
whatever,
that
girlfriend,
you make a
and
movie
then
out.
his son.
That's the sort of story that will be. You could make a movie out of years later,
Yeah,
because
definitely.
and the ending is it's a little bit like Rocky One. You know what I mean? It doesn't win. It doesn't beat Apollo Creed, but it was really close. Do you know what I mean? And he got the
Yeah.
respect. You know what I mean? It's like they didn't beat the world champions, but they took them to extra time,
Yeah.
and it was almost penalties. You know what I mean? It's like it's a bit of a Rocky kind of a
Yes.
moment there, right? A Rocky One
Yes.
moment. And I think everybody who was watching, other than an Argentinian
And
who was
in
watching that
watching the
rooting, everyone was rooting for Cape
game,
Verde. The majority, I was. Oh, you frozen?
yeah, of
Oh, you
course.
frozen?
You want to see what they call the dark horses of the tournament coming through and having the moments. And I think there was
So,
like an Irish board. There was an Irish player, of Cape Verde heritage, who was part of the squad as well. So I did hear about that, an Irish player, or that he had left and worked in Ireland or whatever. But these are the stories, and yeah, Stan, I'm thinking about the movie Goal or something. The kid that goes to Newcastle and makes a name for
oh
himself.
yeah,
It's a little bit Cape Verde right there for that kid who scored that great goal. So yeah, I'm with you. I was thinking there's all these. They've expanded the competition. Is it going to be what they call cannon fodder for the big teams? But Argentina struggled with Cape Verde, and Colombia has been tough as well. Switzerland's made it all the way through to the quarterfinals as well.
yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. Morocco have been quite good as well.
I mean,
So
I'm in
yeah,
Vancouver, so like, when I'm traveling to work, and I've been, I go right by where the games are, I have to go sort of like quite close to that area, and yeah, it's been a big turnout for the
What's the
World Cup
vibe?
in Vancouver. Yeah, it's fine,
Been a good
but it's,
vibe in the city.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, haven't haven't noticed
Yeah,
anything untoward or anything like that. But yeah, it's been
and like you said,
you can see a lot of people are walking around with football tops on, representing their countries.
they've been the games have been at times that are palatable for the East Coast and the West Coast of America here. For me, the games are at 9 o'clock in the evening or 5 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So definitely been enjoying the games, and yeah, I thought it was a little bit it's a little bit unfair because in previous years the competition was confined to 32 teams, and now they've expanded it to I think 48 teams, something like that. But the quality of
And
games and
they're
the
talking about expanding it again, right? And there is a part of me that I get it. Obviously, you have to have the qualifying part for your different regions, like CONCACAF and all of that, and to get to a certain point in it.
yeah
But I do like the idea of more teams, being able to have an opportunity to get into it. Why not? And then if they get, how are they going to learn? Get into the competition by not being in the
yeah
competition. If they get knocked out, they get knocked out. Do you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's about who's the best nation. So
yeah it's been a lot of fun, and so we'll dive in a little bit more. We'll dive in a little more. Yeah, go ahead.
I do think there's been a lot of. We've got to touch on. It was going very well, wasn't it? Until all of that stuff with the American team and the Balogun stuff, and the card. You know,
Yeah.
you, it, what is going? That's
And
just yeah.
it didn't do the U.S. team any favors in my opinion, because what was the manager supposed to do but put him in and play him? What was the player to do but play? And what have you done? You've only motivated Belgium at the end of the day to go ahead
And,
and put in a performance. You know?
and what does it mean when you say it's the red card wasn't rescinded? It was suspended. I mean,
Yeah,
at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, whether you're on the side where you think, yeah, it was a foul, it's a red card and he's off, or whether you're on the side of, yeah, it was a foul, but it was accidental, maybe a red card was too harsh. They're the two fences. Irrespective of where you stand on it, the call was made and a red card was given.
yeah,
We can all, you can all come out afterwards and say, well, it never changes like that, right? So if you think that because there is no appeal structure in the World Cup where you get a red card, you can appeal. They don't have that. So if this situation happens, the best thing they can do is you keep it, and then at the end of the competition, the governing body then comes out and says, right, going forward, we're making this change. If there is a red card, there will be do you know what I mean? You can't just start meddling with it mid
they
competition.
did. They did the same thing for Cristiano Ronaldo, who was
Yeah.
sent off against Ireland and should have received a um, misses 3 games, which
And
some of them would have been
he served one game ban.
in the
So
qualification.
he
Yeah,
should have missed. He should have missed the two open in Portugal.
yeah. But as you listen, Stan, you and I are long in the tooth. We're not that old yet, but we're old enough to know that FIFA and the governing bodies of the World Cup are want to do whatever they want to do. You know what I
Listen,
mean?
I know this might sound like a little bit harsh, right? But there's a part of me that's like, one of the good things about when this World Cup is finished, hopefully, we won't have to see Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo again. And as much as they are good footballers, it's just like the Messi Cristiano Ronaldo show. It's just like it's like we must have them. It's not just because of the football. It's the branding, the marketing, the this,
Yeah,
the that. Do you know what I mean? The potato chips, you know what I mean? Whatever it might be. It's this whole thing. it's like I do think that I'm not saying that people have sat down beforehand and said, right, we've got to make sure that Argentina wins, but I do think that they do get overly protected, and I think that you got referees that where Messi may do a foul, and another player who will do a similar foul who would get a red card for that. The referee doesn't. He's thinking to himself, maybe even subconsciously, I don't want to be that guy.
Did you see how high up
You know what
on
I
the
mean? If I
leg
give a
that
red,
was?
hang on a minute, Tom. If I give a red card right now and I've got to send Messi off, what's going to happen after that? Do you know what I'm getting at? Even though that might be the right thing to do, because there was that one. They were making a comparison of the Balogun foul, weren't they? And showing like a close up of it, and then they were showing a similar one of Messi where he had his studs on the back of someone. You know what I mean? And didn't even get a booking for it.
The stature of the player. Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? And I would say as well, in that Egypt game, which is the most fresh one, there's two sides to it for me. The first side of it, I'm kind of like,
The memory.
well,
Yeah.
if you're 2-0 ahead and you can't capitalize on that, and you deserve to lose. But then there's another side of me that's like, when I watch the game again, and you look at it and you see some of the fouls that are made onto the Egyptian team, and nothing's being given for it, or even VAR is not saying, hold on a minute, let's have a look at that. And then other things are happening with the other team, and VAR is like, hold on a minute, let's stop everything. We need to look at this, and really look at this. Do you know what I mean? You think what's going on here? So that's why I'm thinking, like, where is the consistency? That's what I'm looking for. It's not consistent. That's what I would say about the officiating at this World Cup. There is a lack of consistency from what I can see.
And it started off real good. I really liked the way it was done.
The World Cup.
Nah, it shouldn't be, but it was still presented in a way you know what they're reviewing. But the thing comes in there, how many of those are actually clear and obvious? And that's where the issue is. And those red card rather
Egyptian goal, man. It was like, it's like they were looking, you know, there should be maybe a rule where that if something like that happens and there's a counter attack and you get to the halfway line and you haven't called it, that's it. That's it. You know? I don't know if Ray's stuck there.
No, he's just pausing.
So, I mean, that took a long time to call. So, I mean...
Rodrigo. No, three.
But then on the other side, there's calls happening, and they're not even taking a look at it. VAR's, there's this, you know, there's nothing to look at. Keep playing on.
Yeah, so, it started pretty good, and it got really helter-skelter.
So yeah, I'm kind of like much in the way that because of all of that stuff with the American team when they played Belgium, you know, I would say everybody outside of maybe the United States wanted Belgium to win because of all that interference, you know, the Infantino thing, you know, on one side of it, you know, it's about, oh yeah, politics should be involved in football, and you've got a president, called all that stuff. I think it was just, it just, you know, I don't know who to blame for that. I don't blame Balogun for it. He's not in the middle. He's not in the middle of it all. Like he's just like, you know.
And that's what sucks because the U.S. looked good in all the previous.
Do you know the best thing that could have happened in that situation? Yeah. If you're the manager, and I know it's going to sound holier than thou, and in a perfect world, and you know, so it's easy for you to say that, Stan. You're not in that position, but you could say the best decision is like if you're a manager and you're in that situation, and there's been a red card of your top striker, yeah. And then it's been rescinded in this manner, and everyone's going like, "What's happening to the game?" This is, you know.
But it wasn't
the game's gone and blah blah blah. You still have the decision as the manager to not pick that player to make your point.
he still sometimes in the future has to serve a 1 game ban, which is fucking just.
Yeah, and yeah, you could say, well, you've got your best tools available to you. Why didn't you pick them? But there's another side that could be the integrity of the game, and this is not. Do you know what I'm getting at? You'll probably get fired after that game. Who knows if you lose?
But to me, there's like
if you win, you're going to be a hero, right? If you win, you're going to be, But if you lose that game, then yeah, that's it, isn't
it? To me, it looked like the U.S. had planned the game without Balogun, and all of a sudden, no, he's available, and it's like they changed what their game plan was. Plus, Pulisic's injuries finally caught up with him, and he should have went out instead of keep playing for 10 fucking minutes after he was injured. After screaming to the bench, I don't know why he just didn't lay down, but
yeah, it was just So all of that was a bit, yeah. And I've always felt like Christian Pulisic, man, it's just like it's very overhyped, isn't it? Like
But the injuries always get there. It's a combination of their overhyped stand, these attacking midfielders for the U.S., and they're just full of injuries. But plus, they just don't get so much international play.
I was glad America went out, to be honest. I'm sorry, you might not want to hear that, but I was actually glad because of all of that rubbish. But now, now my next focus is on Argentina. I want Argentina not to win.
Yeah, I think I hope as many people that were against the U.S. are against Argentina.
Obviously, my country is still in it as well. One of my countries. I have quite a lot of bets I could have placed, right? Obviously, I'm English, but I've got a Canadian citizenship.
Yeah.
I could go to Canada. Canada gone. They crashed out.
Yeah.
I've got Scottish roots. They gone. They went early.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So my bets were like, my Jamaican side, they weren't even there. they weren't even at the party. Their invitation got lost in the post. But England's still in there. So, I get a lot of options.
Yeah.
And the missus is Dutch as well, which I lost 50 quid. I lost $50. We put $50 on Holland, winning the whole thing.
Are you talking about a little flutter here and there, Stan?
Yeah, we put 50 on because the missus is Dutch, right? We put 50 on the Dutch, winning the whole thing.
I'll tell you.
And it was looking good for a bit. It was looking quite good, and then that last game, it was just like, okay.
They came out to not lose, and it's like that happened in this World Cup. If you didn't come out to play, you got punished. Then you had Mexico that came out
and
playing.
Why I was behind the bet was I read an article. It was just before the World Cup started, and it was about this economist guy who, over the last 3 years, he'd made the correct prediction. No, not the last 3 years. The last 3 World Cups. He had made the correct prediction that he would win it. This top economist guy. Wow. And I read it in a couple of places, and he was saying for his fourth choice now, for this fourth time, he said the Netherlands. So I was like, hello. This economist guy's crunched all the numbers somehow. He's got it right 3 times. And it's like it's every year. It's like there's a 4-year gap every time. And he's got it right the last 3. So I put it on 50, and the Netherlands didn't do it. When they went out, I looked round at the missus and I'm like, I guarantee you that economist ain't going out for a while.
So minus England, who do you want to win, Stan?
Pardon?
Said minus England, who do you want to win now?
Minus England. Norway.
What, they're playing England?
Exactly. So if we're gonna, he said minus England. So the team that knocks us out, if they go on to win it, that gives you a little bit of like, well, we got knocked out by the winners.
All right. So real quick,
yeah, I don't want Argentina to win it.
Real quick, I want to tell you though, I put a sneaky $20 on.
Could win it.
I put a sneaky 20. I put a sneaky 20 on Norway to beat Brazil and England to beat Mexico. So that was a nice little double right there. It paid out 10-1 in the accumulator. So that was very, very nice. England made me sweat a little bit. The sending off made me sweat a little bit in the last 10, 15, 20 minutes of that game. Mexico, who is the team that Tony wants Arsenal to play in the style of Mexico, right, Tony?
Yep.
Uh, I'd be a lot of crosses, a lot of silly crosses into the box for nobody to for easily to
Well,
defend.
that was the last game, right?
Anyway, Sean is here. I hope you've enjoyed your time off from YouTube and the World Cup. There was once or twice was an opportunity we could get together, but um, I know I think Gary had a podcast today. He brought his
Yep.
podcast forward, and we pushed ours back, so they both coincided tonight. Um, but
Somebody appeared on both of them. Wonder who
we're
that is.
very You've been on both of them. Stephen is working, so he's just listening in. I do hope that the interference and the internet interference I'm having hasn't been coming across on the broadcast so far, but
What was that?
hopefully
What was that Croatian game where one of the goals was disallowed because as it was
that's
coming in,
crazy.
there was something in the ball, could have snicker or something like that's in the ball, and they're trying to say, yeah, there was contact. His hair, touched
No,
the ball,
no.
something like that. And I'm listening to this, right? And I'm thinking to myself, is this where we are now? We're trying to we're paying people to find ways how to say it's not a goal,
Hair
rather than
follicles.
rather than trying to find ways to say that it is a goal. So what is it that
Yeah.
they want? Do they want us to
Me-
go? Do they want us to attend football matches where it's going to end 0-0 every week? Is that what they want? No goals.
I think
Every match
Croatia. I
0-0.
think Croatia were done. I think it was a bit of a stitch up. That
Yeah.
that
So
ball
so what
seemed
they're
to
saying then, had that guy been bald, right, bald and had no hair, then there would have been nothing to activate the ball because there'd be no hair. I mean, what
but Stan,
is that where
I
we are?
don't think it even flicked off his head. I don't think it even flicked off his head. It
It
looked to
looked
me
like
like
it, didn't it?
it hit the back. Came off the back of the defender's back, and would have kept the player onside by that, and it would have been. I thought it was a legitimate goal. I have to say, and that was tough on Mudrick as well, another legend of the game. You know what I mean? Despite him playing for Tottenham in previous years. But Sean said, my Vikings successfully avenged my Samurai Blue after Martinelli found his 22-23 shooting boots against us. Here's to hoping we knock England out and send our Arsenal boys on a much needed holiday. Yeah,
Could,
so
could we start there, Ray? Are we selling the wrong left winger?
are we selling the wrong left winger? Because, as you know, we have a fondness for Leandro Trossard on
And
this
that's
side.
that's who I want to win because that generation they should have won a World Cup or Euro or something. And
That Belgium team
uh,
is, listen,
and
the US,
all those guys on the bench except for Trossard basically. And
yeah,
I thought there was two of them on the pitch at
they
one
have
time.
they have a strong. Yeah, Trossard was amazing. They have a strong bench now because of those players that are aging, Kevin De Bruyne and Lukaku, right? Principal
Yep.
amongst them. They have a good striker up front who can see the back of the net. They've got Trossard, and they've got Doku. They've got your friend Tielemans in midfield. So that is a very very canny and good outfit. Belgium are a good team, and probably in the sense of a team, Tony, they're a real team because the sum of their parts is greater than any one of their parts. Do you know what I mean? They don't
Yeah.
have any huge superstars, but they have a very workmanlike team.
And that's why I'm not too upset that the U.S. won because or lost because I can only see Belgium being only one of those two that can get to Spain. I can see Richard being able to have a vision to find somebody open and do the play to change it.
Yeah. Welcome Gary into the chat as well. Hello, Gary. I hope you had a good stream as well
Uh,
over there on YouTube
Gary,
tonight.
Gary, off to rest before exercise in the morning and work later on tomorrow.
Uh, Argentina have one yellow card for 22 fouls in the World Cup. England, on the other hand, have a yellow card for every 7 fouls. That being said, I don't want Argentina to win for other reasons. Right. Okay. So yeah, Trossard. are we so pros and cons of Trossard? He's obviously aging, right? So you have a resale value where you can recoup most of the money you paid for him, Tony. And maybe Martinelli can be not starting every week because obviously if we're selling Trossard on the left wing, we're going for something. You would think we're going for something better in the market this summer.
Yeah, and Martinelli will bring you over 40 or 50 million pounds, like Trossard, that'd be 16, whatever it converts into.
20. And again, listen, we're getting wages off the bill, but off the wage bill. But I do think that we are
Martinelli makes more though. That's a problem.
uh, we could get a little bit more money though. It's probably the age and resale value for Trossard right now. But I do think that there is something to Andrea Berta, moving players on at reasonable prices, reasonable.
But wouldn't you rather get twice the money for
Martinelli.
Martinelli?
Yeah.
Or two and a half times?
So
Yeah,
yes,
I think
Tony would rather sell Martinelli than Trossard. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I think so. I think Trossard's a big game player. He shows up and scores more important goals for the team. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, he's a big guy. I mean, his goal GA is so high for the club, and Martinelli can only score in Champions League where you have an open football, which is totally different style.
Yes. There is a big disparity that we've seen through Martinelli.
And later stages of the Champions League, I just don't think Martinelli's gonna be able to get the goals you need. Early on, he can, but when it matters
Yeah.
the most, I just don't think he can deliver.
I look at it this way, right? Look at Trossard and Martinelli as two batteries.
Yeah.
Batteries that you'd maybe put into the controller of a PlayStation or an Xbox or a TV remote. Two batteries, right?
Yeah.
Trossard's got less power in his battery.
I think he's got more power.
You know what I mean? The life expectancy of that battery is a lot less compared to the other one.
Because of his age.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think
and the question but here's the question, right, that you should ask yourself, right? If you can sell Trossard and bring in a replacement that is a considerable upgrade, why wouldn't you do it? If you're telling me that there's no one else that can come in and do what he does or better, then we keep him. That should always be the argument, right? And we'll get money for him, but we have to be able to bring in someone.
But that would
better than that. You know what I'm getting at? And I think that's what's going to happen.
But
it's Martinelli or Trossard. That would still be the case, right?
I
Martinelli and Trossard. That would still be the case.
I was reading this earlier, and I thought it to myself. So you bring in a better person. That means Martinelli's gonna be sitting 9 games out of 11 in the league. So do you trust him coming off the bench to do it, or do you trust Trossard to come off? And I would be trusting Trossard to get you.
Yeah, this would be a no-brainer. If Martinelli was 29-30 and Trossard was 25-26, this would be a no-brainer. It would be a very automatic decision that, Martinelli is older, doesn't give us but the fact is that Trossard's the one that's older, but he does give us those moments.
Also, as well, I mean, if you can buy a player for around, when we bought him, was it around 27 million, something like that? Maybe there's more with add-ons, but I thought it was around 27 million. And you're able to, get that good service out of him and sell him on for 20 million, knowing that looking at it as a unit of production rather than the person, that you're bringing another piece of machinery that's going to outperform what that one did. That's good business for everybody.
Yeah.
Rather than keep that player and then the decline happens, ends up leaving on a free, is declining in what it was giving you anyway. That's what's going to happen. You've got to find that sweet spot, and I'm all for it if we get a replacement that is better than what we've let going out. I can't argue with that.
And that will be revealed throughout the summer. We got to keep it moving a little bit if we're going to cut this to about 90 minutes overall. But we'll keep moving.
There are no gummy bears coming to find mine.
Undoubtedly, the left wing will be addressed in the summer by Trossard moving on. I think we're all in agreement that Martinelli will be a player who sits on the bench or would, in an ideal world, if you're picking your strongest side, the Martinelli would not be featuring in your first 11.
Yeah, here's the question, right? It's obvious that there's going to be some sort of an addition by that left side.
Yeah.
Who would you want to see fulfill that space?
You talking about Morgan Rogers?
No, I'm asking you guys what you want, what you would like to see.
I haven't really looked like we have been enjoying the World Cup. Haven't really looked at it, but there was what was his name? There was a player.
What's his name?
Ivory Coast. I think.
But there's not too many left wingers out there though. That's
exactly. There was a player on. I think it was one of the African teams in Ivory
Coast.
Diamande. Yeah.
Let's talk about him going to Liverpool.
He looked quite lively. He looked quite electric. I don't know if Morgan Rogers is going to give us the winger that Trossard or Martinelli has been. I'm wondering if we're opening that area up for Eze this coming season.
I don't think so.
No, you can't just get rid of Trossard and then go, well, yeah, we've got Eze.
I agree.
That's so Arsene Wenger. We don't do that anymore.
I really haven't looked at the left wing. Do you have any ideas, Stan?
Well, for me, if I was the one trying to make these moves, what I would like to see happen is, I think, Vinny Jr. from Real Madrid.
Yeah, that's real big time.
His contract is up in 2027. They don't want to let him go in a free. He's had contracts put to him that has said that he didn't want to sign, and that was before they were bringing in Jose Mourinho, and he doesn't have a good history with Jose Mourinho. They had that bad altercation on the sideline that time that spilled out into social media and the media and everything like that. So, where would somebody like Vinny Jr. go? I think the Premier League is enticing, especially London as well. And I was reading another report about this where Madrid would be open to, because they want to get a transfer fee if they can, if it's not working out. Because as I say, it ends in 2027. You can leave on a free, and they're saying that they would be happy to give a portion of any transfer fee to the player.
Yeah,
I don't know what that percentage would be.
And the profile of Arsenal in Europe has now amplified, having gotten to quarterfinals, semifinals, and a final this past season. So Arsenal are a team Europe-wide or worldwide that would be seen as a destination for one of the bigger players. There is some talk of PSG players as well.
I just wanted to add as well, for me, that would be my pick because it's a marquee player, and at skill-wise, quality-wise, it's the best that's out there for that position.
Yeah,
but I think the only thing that I would think logically for me could hinder even a deal like that happening might be what the wages looks like, because it's not so much okay, we're going to pay this guy X when he comes in. There may be other players who have recently signed contracts, and in that contract it says if you bring in another player and you pay that player above what I'm getting, I have to have my wage bumped up to that as well. That's a big clause that you have. And if you just recently signed a contract for 300 grand a week, and you're considered like a star boy, You know what I mean? And you have that kind of a clause in your contract. Then you got to think about, okay, we're going to bring in Vinny Jr. and he wants, you know, 450 grand a week, 500. Who knows what it could be? And you think, okay, we can do that, but then you're like, oh yeah, we've got to bump up maybe a couple of other players as well. Which really, do you know what I'm getting at? You got to keep a happy ship, right?
I don't. Yeah, you would think
You
that
know.
there would be a. You would think there would be a rivalry in terms of wages, but you don't really see that playing out in a club like that.
But with as much
Right,
as
that's what the agents are there for. They're there for the interest of their clients, and they have these clauses in the contracts, right?
Yeah.
There's a
Tony,
lot-
what do you think, Tony?
I don't think it matters with what we generated from a Premier League and with long Champions League run. I think we generated plenty of revenue to bring in somebody and bump up somebody's pay.
So we have an opportunity this summer to flex our muscles like Liverpool did last season, but we have to be very, very careful in the players that we identify because Liverpool clearly identified players that did not work in their team and work with the manager at the time, Arnie Slot. So, I don't want to be languishing seventh or eighth come next May in the league.
And I think that's the problem is that you had last year, Bertha brought all the tools for Arteta, but I still think even winning the league, I still don't think he got enough out of the tools he had for what Bertha did. I think Arteta kind of soiled what Bertha wrapped up around.
That's the perfect segue, Tony, to talk about a certain goalkeeper that is coming in now and has been signed as our third choice goalkeeper, Olivier Meslier, who will be playing games in the Carling or the Carabao Cup.
Leeds.
Former Leeds goalkeeper.
He has like a hammerhead shape, doesn't he?
Which means Kepa will be moving on, as we thought, for a low 5 million, I think, was the release fee for Kepa. So somebody's going to pick up Kepa, but something that has stuck in my craw for the last few months has not been a major thing because we won the Premier League, but the decision of Mikel Arteta to pick Kepa when you're playing your major rival in the Premier League, Manchester City, was very questionable for me. If we were playing Manchester United or Everton, Tottenham, or even Liverpool in that final, I would have been okay with Kepa. But you don't pick Kepa in that situation if you're hungry to win something, which we were at the time, and go with your second choice goalkeeper at the expense of the feelings of millions of Arsenal fans around the world, just to make one of your players happy.
But it seems like that's always written into a contract at Arsenal. You get to that stage of that cup, and you have to play your backup keeper.
Yeah,
and that's always been the case. And
they left a sour taste. Stan's got a sour taste in his mouth right now.
Not on this occasion, right? Pep Guardiola, he drew Mikel Arteta and hook, line and sinker. He went out on an interview before the match, like a day or two before, whatever it is, and he was asked, like, it's a cup competition. Are you going to play this keeper? Or, oh no, I'm playing Trafford. Basically, And Mikel Arteta was. It's almost like, so what are you going to do? Mikel Arteta fell for it. Goes, all right, he's going to play his backup keeper. I'm going to play my backup keeper. And we also
the manual says in the Carabao Cup you play your second goalkeeper, but a seasoned manager who wants to win a trophy, I feel like they should go with the best team. And we said it at the time. You said it at the time. I didn't really buy into it too much, Stan, but you said at the time this could have a psychological impact on our match at the Etihad, which would follow a month later. And it did kind of lead into that.
Yes.
And we were lucky and good enough. We were good enough to win the last 5 games. Nervous games, right? Some of them very nervous games, but we sealed the deal and we're Premier League winners now.
And just while we're on the subject of goalkeepers, do find it so odd that David Raya, who wears the number 1 shirt for Spain, that's his number, he doesn't start for Spain. And David Raya, he looks like he's not even the number 2 keeper. He looks like that Joan Garcia is ahead of him as well.
Yeah.
He looks like he's the 3rd choice goalkeeper for Spain. When he's a triple Golden Glove winner in the Premier League. The best league in the best league out of the main leagues in Europe, right? Premier League is the best one. And for the last 3 seasons, he's won the Golden Glove, which hasn't been done. Yet he is the 3rd choice goalkeeper for Spain. And you know why that is? It has to be because he left Spain so long ago in his career to get game time.
Yeah.
It's almost a bit like out of sight, out of mind. Because you know what I mean? He has not.
Also,
and that's a shame. They should be able to have a wider net, right? And it's like
there's also a comfort level of an international manager who will go with his tried and trusted. You know what I mean? The players that have gotten them there, the players. I'll give you an example. You remember John Aldridge from Liverpool?
Yes.
He scored buckets of goals for Liverpool, but when he played for the Republic of Ireland, his record was horrible. But Jack Charlton kept playing him because he still pressed from the front. He still did a lot of work from the front. So I think managers, even if their club they're out of favor with their club, managers will stick with the players that they know, and that may be with some of the goalkeepers in Spain right now. The manager Del Fuente, I think his name is.
But I'm pretty sure as well there was a spell where he came into the Spanish side, a while back, some sort of qualifyings or whatever, before the actual World Cup tournament, because of an injury. And in the games that he was in, the results were very favourable. And then as soon as the other guy was no longer injured, he was just straight back in again.
Yeah.
It's like, cheers, Dave. Thanks for that, mate. All right, see you later. Bye.
All right, so we're going to keep it moving a little bit, but my thoughts on Meslier, whatever. We're going to have to learn how to pronounce his name, Meslier. I'll go with Meslier. I'm going to liken this to a little bit like Aaron Ramsdale. Aaron Ramsdale came in having been relegated twice with Sheffield United, but with the Arsenal defence in front of him, he did well and he prospered. I'm going to put my neck on the line and say this former Leeds goalkeeper will be okay for us in the coming season, provided we don't have a major injury to David Raya and he gets an extended amount of games in the Premier League. Tony,
but I'm still not ready to be 2nd choice though. I think we might bring in somebody else.
Yeah, I think it was touted as being 3rd choice.
Setford's going out on loan.
But Setford will go out on loan, so I think the thinking will be he will be 2nd choice. Tony, you comfortable with this 2nd goalkeeper?
No.
Not absolutely not Tony approved.
And not Tom approved. He was talking. It was funny because while he was at Leeds, he was talking about defending him against Ben's on Tom's Lead channel at the time, and Ben's a big fucker like Ray. And here's Tom, a wee little leprechaun, and he was going to town on him. And now, because Tom's asked me if I've seen these blooper videos of him going around on Twitter now, and I'm like, no. And he's like, now I laugh at him. I can laugh at him because he's not with my team, but he doesn't mind these guys.
Not in favor. Okay, so I'm generally in favor of this as long as he doesn't get extended playing time. He gets the odd game here and there. He plays the FA Cup. Tony is a no. So Stan, you get the casting vote.
Well, I remember him from when he was at Leeds, and I remember that some years ago. I think it might have been when he maybe just joined Leeds. He was being spoken about as in goalkeeping terms, as going to be one of the next big things as a goalkeeper. This big, a really highly rated prospect. Maybe
young generation,
is a way to maybe phrase it. Yeah. But then as he's gone on through his career, that hasn't been the case, has it? I mean, last season he didn't get a single game for Leeds, and I think he maybe played in a couple of Premier 2 league games. They're called Premier League 2. So he's being kept out by, even in the Premier League 2, there's other people that are ahead of him, right? Coming through. So
you'd be fearful. You'd be fearful of David pull the hamstring.
He's kind of known as he can be in a game and pull off a spectacular save to prevent a goal.
Yeah.
And then moments later in the same match, do something, drop an absolute clanger.
I remember he
causes a goal, which totally makes you forget the good thing that he did, and you're thinking, "What the fuck?" And that's the note. That's the note he'll leave you on. Do you know what I mean?
I think I remember a game where he dropped the ball or he didn't punch the ball correctly, and they lost the game. Leeds did. So there you go. That's the goalkeeper, but he's coming in. Sean said, as Belgium, they wasted their golden generation by having Roberto Martinez manage them, similar to Portugal. So that man is a definition of failing upwards. One thing I did love as well. I do love the Norwegian rowing, banging drums and rowing. That was a nice thing for the World Cup.
Especially Holland when he just started just wailing on.
He's just a big kid. Holland is just a big kid, isn't he?
Have you seen this Nike advert from today that came out?
Nike advert, no.
I'll send it to both of you. It's
okay.
It's great. But to backtrack real quick,
yeah.
He was talking about Reina, how he's like top of a Premier League, but bottom of Spain. Then you have Pittsford, bottom of Premier League, but top of England.
And that's what I'm saying. But there's not very many English goalkeepers, right? And the fate with Pickford has been maintained, you know. But I think he's a pretty consistent goalkeeper. I have to give him credit. Pickford's been a good goalkeeper for England, right?
Much better for England than for teams he's been
Everton. I am thoroughly disappointed and disgusted with our first summer signing. Whether Kepa stays or not, signing Medley is another howler by birthday to add to Madueke. At least we signed a French player. So yeah, I mean this is going to take a little bit. The second goalkeeper is always a tricky position to fill. You either have to bring a veteran in or a younger player who maybe in this case has lost his way a little bit. Kepa lost his way a little bit a couple of years ago, but it's 20 million, not 20 million euros, not 20 million pounds. It's
look, we had a similar situation where we had Martinez in our squad as well. He went on to win a World Cup.
Yeah,
starts every week in the Premier League team. So it depends on where they're at, but usually I like a bit of a veteran who's like can come off the bench if he has to. And he's of that mindset. He's not sat on the bench going, I want to play. He's just happy to be there. And it's like, if I have to come off the bench and play, then I will.
Yeah.
Hopefully I won't have to. But if I do, I will. Do you know what I mean? That's what you want.
BX, I hope you're doing well, BX. Madrid need to sell Vinny Jr. to bring in Haaland. I just think that's just talk right now, but Haaland is putting himself on the. I mean, if you didn't know about Haaland already, on the World Cup stage, you're aware of him now. You know what I mean? We'll preview the games, the quarterfinals coming up as well with an Arsenal flavor in a second. Vinny Jr. will be way too much money. Ali Arnes was 116. So what would we have to pay to bring him in? No, thank you.
You did hear about
They'd be a lot of money.
You did hear about the Bruno gummy bears news today, though, did you
not? We're going to get to the
Okay.
Bruno. Yeah, we're going to get to the Bruno.
I mentioned Mr. Gummy Bears a little bit ago.
Sean, you don't run Arsenal, so why do you care about the price? Yeah, I'm a little bit like I'm not going to be worried about the price if I don't pay the money. Bring the players in, Tony. Bring the players in. We know it's going to be big money nowadays to bring players in. Sometimes over 100 million, sometimes just under 100 million. Bruno Guimaraes, what's the price going to be for him in the end? Close to 80 million, right?
it seems like we can get him for around 60.
60, but Newcastle are not playing ball for 60. You know what I mean?
We'll see. I'm still pissed when we could have won the Premier League. They're like, oh, it could up or not win the Premier League, but get into the top four. I guess I was at that point. They're like, oh, gummy bears can upset or there
He
were
went to
gummy
Newcastle.
bears.
He went to
But
Newcastle and they made a video about
we could have had him for like
Arsenal.
27 or whatever it was.
I don't understand. I didn't understand it a few years ago. I just feel that we've built year on year on year. We've built
I,
Arsenal. We
I
built
just not like
Arsenal.
our excuse
This
for it, right?
now
Saying
now
a
we're
player
at,
could upset our project. How would the gummy bears upset our
he
project
wouldn't.
when
He wouldn't have.
well,
No.
when he would have damn sure got you fourth and not fifth like we finished.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we could
I
have had
saw
St. Tottenham's Day
saw a
a lot
tweet.
earlier.
I saw a tweet which is very very a couple of tweets actually because I'm pushing a few of them to stand. But this one was like Bruno Guimaraes is the player you hate if he's on another team, but he's a player that you absolutely love if he's on your team. And I and
I
I think
enjoy watching him.
and I think if he comes to Arsenal, he's going to drive us forward and give us more of a presence in midfield. I was disappointed in the Champions League final that we lost the midfield battle as the game wore on in the Champions League final. And yet
So,
we could have won it with two penalties that our players missed. You know.
so is he gonna be the Odegaard replacement, or is he just?
No, I think that he would play, like a Zubimendi Rice played. It would be a Rice or Bruno, or it would be a Zubimendi Bruno. Listen, as we've been saying here, our players are going to be really really tired at the end of this World Cup. How many Arsenal players are? We can go through it now. We could. How many are active in the World Cup right now? Trossard's one. Saliba's another. Let me just go through it here.
I seen the post, but it probably still isn't on my feed.
We have about three England players: Madueke, Saka, Rice, Saliba on the French team. That's four. Trossard, although he's leaving, will be five.
Here's your answer, right?
Spanish team have two more.
Mikel Merino.
Yeah, who scored? He's back. Mikel Marino's back. How many are in there? 7, 8.
Zubimendi.
You got
Yeah.
you got one at France, one at Norway, a future one
Odegaard. Yeah.
for Morocco.
Maybe.
You got 4 on England, three on Spain, one ex-Arsenal at Argentina, one current Arsenal at Belgium, one ex-Arsenal at your good old Granit Xhaka as your last one in there. But you got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 current players in the quarterfinals.
See that? You got 10 Arsenal players, all in the final stages. And we said
Not
this.
from a current playing team, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Xhaka's not playing for us still, is he?
No, but 10 current. I didn't count the.
All the current outs.
I pulled the current and my incoming now today.
Call them out.
Just tell me the current ones.
Yeah. Trossard.
Trossard.
Well,
Odegaard.
it just.
Trossard. Odegaard. Saliba.
Well, Saliba's France. You got Odegaard at Norway. Then you got the 4 English players.
Who are they?
Who are they? Tell me those names.
Rice, Saka. Okay.
Madueke. Come on. Come on, Tom. Who's the fourth one? I can't think who the fourth one.
I can't think of a fourth one.
Eze.
Yeah, Eze. I wasn't saying Eze, but I was like.
Yes.
Okay.
The forgotten man.
Good job.
Odegaard. Yeah, okay. We went through it, right?
There's 3 Spaniards here.
BX said, "Why do the fans care about the price or how much you spend? It's
Who's
hilarious."
playing you? I thought only two. Oh yeah, David Raya as well. He never plays, but yeah.
Melia is worse than Kepa. He didn't play a single competitive match for Leeds last season. I was benched by Lucas Perry. I agree with you, Sean. He is worse than Kepa, so we didn't really upgrade in that situation. But
That's why I think he's a Viva third choice. I don't think he's a Viva second choice.
Kepa wanted. I said it at the end of the last season. Kepa was going to want to leave and play somewhere.
Kepa's a player that is a first team player somewhere.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
if it's not in this league, it could be in Italy.
He did a good job for Bournemouth. I wonder if that Bournemouth manager, who's now at Manchester United, no, where is he? Where did he go? Liverpool.
There was a time when Kepa was like bought for 70 million. Do you remember that?
He could go to Liverpool. He could be the understudy to Alisson.
Chelsea.
You know that Kepa could go to Liverpool because Andoni would probably like him. Because I'd rather us get 2 or 3 players for the price of one because we need more than just the left wing coming into the squad. Yeah, we're going to discuss it, Sean. What do we need? We need a few things this summer. Vinny is worth the 2 to 3 average players you want. This is an elite player. Yeah, it'd be crazy if we could bring a Real Madrid player. It would be a real indication of the shift. Maybe the shift in Europe is heading towards London rather than staying in Spain.
But do you go with Morgan Rogers and have your attacking midfielder that replaces Odegaard, or could be up there as your left wing?
This is going to be a hot take. I think Rogers might upset the balance of our team.
I think it's too much money they're talking about.
Yeah, do you agree, Stan?
It's funny you say this, right? Because I knew that we were going to be coming on and having a chat, and I was thinking about some of the things that we would probably touch on.
Yeah,
and obviously looking at some of the transfer links, and for me, we're on the same wavelength. When I look at the Morgan Rogers transfer, the first thing that comes into my mind, it reminds me of when Newcastle bought Tino Asprilla.
Okay.
They had a great team. They had a great way of playing. It was working for them. And they went out and spent top dollar on another very, very good player. A very good player.
Yeah.
And that player, when he was put into the team, would individually do very well, score goals. But it's no good if that player is scoring 2 goals, but you're losing 3-2. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? The guy's paying you back. The guy's scoring goals, but all of a sudden, it's like the team's not winning.
The team's not working.
We lost 2-1. He scored a goal.
Yeah.
Again, 4th goal in a row. But we haven't, 4th goal in a run. It kind of, there was like the apple cart just got upset. And it wasn't because you put in a shit player. He was a good player.
It's like a Florian Wirtz.
And I feel like that about Morgan Rogers because I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, well, where's this? Okay, as a starting player, where's he starting? Where?
They probably want to slot him in midfield, left.
Instead of who? Everyone's fit. Instead of who?
Instead of Odegaard, I think you would be your attacking midfielder.
Well, I think he'd be on the other side. He's going to be inside left.
Really?
No, I think you have rice and gummy bears, and
we have to understand, right, that Martin Odegaard is not really being deployed as a number 10, an attacking player. You only have to look at what Carlo Ancelotti.
And that's where we went wrong, though, is playing him as a right 8 or whatever you want to call him.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think it's just screams like a Florian Wirtz to me. We're going to spend a lot of money for an Aston Villa player who can be quite good on his day, but overall might not look the picture.
So who besides gummy bears would you be bringing into the midfield as attacking roles, Dan?
I think we might have the tools there if you add Bruno.
I mean, at the end of the day, you do need rotation, right? You can't play, even though you could pick out your best 3 that you would start out of a selection of players. They can't go the whole hog in all competitions.
Yeah, but I I would start Eze, but Arteta's not going to start Eze because
Yeah,
he's
but
been this
Eze is going
last
to be a
season.
player who will get a certain amount of games, and that's what
But
Stan's talking about, and that's what we hope Mikel Arteta is going to do. He's not going to play Declan Rice 37 games in the Premier League. You know what I mean? He's going to miss one game in August, is he?
well,
No,
well,
no.
uh, well, uh, hopefully there's times where it's Zubamende and Gummy Bears.
We got Miles Lewis Kelly. We discovered Miles Lewis Kelly in midfield. We got Eze. We got Odegaard. We got Zubamendi. We got
Having
Rice.
putting someone
Norgard.
like Gummy Bears into this squad now, with if you think of all of the, let's look at all of the people that we currently have who can play in the midfield, right? We've got
Yeah.
Rice, Nordgaard, he's still there.
Yeah.
Zubamendi,
Zubamendi.
Winari, he's still there. He's still part of the team. He's coming back. He's
Yeah.
back off loan. Odegaard,
Yeah.
Eze,
Eze and Skelly.
Gele, that's 7. Havertz, that's 8.
Mikel Marino.
Mikel Marino, that's 9.
Not even joking here. He plays in midfield.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean
Plays
that's
in midfield, but he's a striker.
not bad. So what you're doing now? You're going to add Bruno Guimaraes to that. That's 10.
And you subtract
And if
three
you
or
look
four
at
of
now
those.
what you've got, the different attributes, because then it's not like they're all the same.
Series
It's not,
options.
there's a lot of variation.
Yeah.
Why can't you see a game where Declan Rice starts as a 6 and Bruno Guimaraes is playing as a left 8 next to Odegaard?
Of course,
Or
you
the left
could.
8 next to Eze? Why can't
Yeah.
there be a game where Bruno Guimaraes is starting as a 6 and maybe Declan Rice is playing as an 8 next to
Right.
someone?
Or you play double pivot with the two of them in there.
But you really,
There'll be
you
games
really
where you
think
don't even need them in the
Odegaard's
same
stay?
team. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to have them in the same team.
Yeah.
You could
You
play.
really
You
think-
could, you could play a game, and on 65 minutes, if you're doing really well, you can take Declan Rice off, and you can bring Bruno in to slot in there, and vice versa. And then you don't get a situation where, at the end of the season, they've got all of these weird, like muscular injuries going on because we've been able to give them longer life. Remember what I said about the batteries. Make sure
Yeah.
those batteries aren't as depleted. And we
Yeah.
don't have to fear that the person that they're rotating with, there's a huge drop off, because it
Yeah.
don't make no bones about it. What I like about this, what I tell you, what I like about this Bruno Guimaraes thing, and obviously what they're saying is that he's now gone to Newcastle and said, I want to leave and play for Arsenal. I want to do this. Right?
supposedly it's his dream club.
So that he's which helps us massively.
Yeah.
But what I like about it is we were tied to him, or not tied to him, spoken about at the same time when he was playing in, is it Lille?
Leon, I think it was.
Yeah, Lyon. Okay. When he was
Yeah.
playing in France, right?
Yeah.
Usually, what would have happened was he would have made his name in France, younger. That's when Arsenal would have bought him. From there, he would have been at Arsenal for a few years. He starts to do really well as 3 years go by at that age. Is that you can advance your game. We see how good he is, and then what happens? Just as he's ready to fulfill everything in his potential, that's when we sell him to someone bigger than us. We sell him to, even though he loves being at Arsenal and he's been there for 3 years, and maybe he's won an FA Cup and been to a Carabao Cup final. He's never got to a Champions League final. He's never got to win the league. Do you know what I mean? Maybe he finished 3rd, maybe he finished 4th, maybe finish 4th again. Do you know what I mean? To get into the Champions League. That's who we were. And then we would have to sell that player and maybe get good money for them, but they'll sell them to a team where they're now going, where they've got an opportunity to win stuff. We're at the other end of that funnel now. Players like Bruno Guimaraes, who goes from somewhere like Lille, he doesn't go to Arsenal, he goes to Newcastle. He goes there and has a few years to, adapt himself to, even to a new league in England.
Yeah.
He's the captain of Newcastle, right? He became the captain within that period of time.
Yeah.
and now he's been part of that original rebuild where he was brought in. And then just as you think there's going to be a rebuild, if you're the player, you're probably looking at him thinking, why are you selling Isak? I thought that he was the second part of the rebuild. I was the first bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now you're, and he's sitting there watching Newcastle say, Isak's not for sale. He's not for sale. He's not going anywhere. We don't care.
Yeah.
He's not for sale. And then you watch Isak start saying, well, you know what? I'm not showing up for work.
Yeah.
I'm not coming to work anymore. And you're the captain, Bruno. You're the captain. You're watching this, right? Okay. And then what happens? You see, okay, let's see how this unfolds. They end up selling that player anyway. And you think, okay, okay, we're going to do another rebuild. We're going to do another one now. We're now on to the second rebuild. Okay. And just as you're doing that second rebuild, they sell Anthony Gordon. You see, Anthony Gordon decide that I'm not into this. I want to be somewhere else and get the move to the team that he wants. It wasn't like he was auctioned off or raffled off.
Barcelona, right?
He wanted to go to Barcelona, and he got his move. And yeah, Newcastle paid good money for it. And at the same time, you're watching Tonali go as well. Tonali, but you're thinking, hold on a minute, why is Tonali leaving Newcastle and going to a team that almost got relegated? What's going on now? What's going on now?
Who's the manager?
You're thinking, I'm coming out. I'm 28, and I've given some good years to this club. And what do you want me to do now? You want me to be part of a third rebuild? Come on, there's only you want me to do that? Or do you want me to go and fulfill my dreams with a team that's just won the league,
and just won the league,
and gets to a Champions League final and got long left, mate? So
and the whole time you're in a World Cup camp with Arsenal players who are Brazilian. You're
gonna go. Listen, both Gabbies, Big Gabby, and Speedy Gabby.
Big Gabby, little Gabby.
Speedy Gabby.
Arsenal have been on the phone to my agents now. What's it really like at Arsenal? What do you think they're going to say? You only have to look at that thing from Trossard about talking group chats at the World Cup with Tim, Saliba, Saka, Rice, all talking on straight after games. That the camaraderie and the closeness that this team has.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Guimaraes is part of those conversations when they're talking, and he's there in the background somewhere, feeling a little bit like I want to be part of that. And yeah, we've seen the family, the camaraderie that Mikel Arteta has fostered at Arsenal has only helped us. And yes, it's been a little bit nuances, a little bit new age at times, playing You'll Never Walk Alone on the training ground and doing different things like the light bulb, but it has fostered the whole family atmosphere at Arsenal where these players will kill for each other at this point in time.
I read that minus a pickpocketing. And I thought to myself, if doing all some of that stuff around the outside that I laughed at, if this is the result of that, because it was pretty unique what he was saying, and it's a good thing to see. You're like, you're reading that and you're thinking, these guys are in it for each other.
Yeah. They
understand that at the end of the day, to be successful on more than one campaign, you've got to be a team. It's a team game.
Yeah.
There's no room for individuals. It's all well and good having some individuality, but at the end of the day, you got to be in there for each other, and you really get that. I really got that feeling and that sense. And for me, that's like half the battle. If you've got that kind of attitude going on behind the scenes where they've all gone away onto a World Cup and they've been, it's a bit like when you go away, and if you work somewhere and you go away on a 2-week holiday, you're not thinking about the people in the office and thinking like, well, while I'm on the beach, I'm going to FaceTime John in accounts, see how he's getting on. You know what I mean? And I'll FaceTime Bill in the warehouse. You don't even want to hear about or think about those people until you come back after those 2 weeks.
Right.
These guys are going away on the World Cup. They're not just going away on a beach for 2 weeks. They're going to play in a World Cup for their countries, and in their downtime, when they could be doing anything in that precious time, they're still talking to each other because they're close friends. That for me is like that. That's like that's priceless. If you're the manager and you know that that's how it is in your team, you can't ask for more.
That's the level where we're at right now. That's the level where we're at right now. We're Premier League champions. And the task this summer is to maintain that. You can only maintain. You can't go up anymore. We have to, and we have a unique situation at Arsenal. We've never, in modern days, modern years, we've never retained the Premier League title. So we have the club is a big onus to go and retool again and get the players needed. Um, as Sean says here, Gamaris for 65, Yildiz for 80, Rogers for 100 will
We,
still
we,
be
we,
better
we're on the
investment.
other end of it now. I remember how we felt when Van Persie left us for Man United. Do you remember how he
Yeah.
felt?
Now we are the attraction.
Exactly. We're
Uh,
we're at we're at the other end of that magnet now.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
We're doing the
Uh,
pulling. We're doing the
but,
pulling. We're the pulling side of the magnet. We're not being dragged in and having to like, okay, you can go for that
but
amount.
still
Yeah, we're not.
important.
Yeah, we're not jettison players anymore. We're the traction. It's a good place to be. I need to get another
Important,
beer.
important that Berta addresses the second goalkeeper's been addressed. We're looking at a left winger. We're looking at Bruno Gamares, and Sean mentions a right back, which is kind of important because Ben White has been touted to go to Everton as well. Vinny and either Rogers or
Well,
Bruno
well,
Gamares is my
we,
pick.
we might need two right backs and a left back.
So, who's the right back? And we'll come back to Bruno Gamares and continue that discussion. I saw a link to Juan Bissaka as your right back. I think I'd like Munoz the best from Crystal Palace, that player from Crystal Palace as a right back. But what do you think about Juan Bissaka, Tony, as your right back? And he would be behind Timber, right? And maybe
Yeah,
even Mosquera.
and that's the thing is like that's your worry. You bring in all these players, more tools that are at his disposal, but is he to use them in a way to get the most out of them in the league? But
Tiger
have
Good.
these new, but have these new better players excel us and propel us in the Champions League to actually winning the damn thing.
Yes.
But are we to be able to maintain a champion caliber Premier League team? And that's the key thing
Well,
I'm
yeah.
worried about, and I'm sure you probably are too.
What we want to do, Tony, and what we probably agree on is like you have to start playing players like Norgard, who is in our squad.
But he's gone if you're bringing in gummy bears.
What? Well, I
He
don't think he's gone. I think that Norgard can play 10 to 15 games. 10 games in the Premier League is not a big ask. 10 games
yeah,
for
but
Norgard to play some minutes in the Premier League.
right. He got more minutes in the last game last season than he got the entire
I,
season in the
I
Premier
know.
League.
Do you know games where Arsenal hopefully they'll be like 2-0 up with the 70 in the 75th minute, and you're asking a player to help save the legs of let's say you're going to take Zubimendi off and save his legs because the Champions League game coming up midweek. You bring in Norgard with a 2-goal lead and you close out the game with Norgard. You know what I mean? That
But are you bringing in Zuba Zubamindi to replace gummy bears at that point?
you could be, yeah, you could be doing that if Bruno is a starter. Stan. I've just been saying you're 2-0 up against Everton on a Saturday, and you're playing a Champions League game in November or October. You bring Norgard on in 75th minute to see out the game, and you save the legs of a Declan Rice, you save the legs of a Zubimendi, or you save the legs of a Bruno if we have him in midfield at the time. And that's kind of what you have to do with your squad. And so right back, we're talking about a right back situation now, the position stand. I heard about Juan Bissaka this week as a possible replacement for Ben White. What's your thoughts?
Was he at United for a while?
He was at United.
That was a big deal, wasn't it? A big money deal for the time. for the
Now
year.
he's
Something like,
gone down. He's gone down with West Ham now. So,
He's very quick, was I remember him being very quick.
yeah, he can be attacking. He's quick, but obviously not defensively the best.
No,
But you have Saliba. In a perfect world, you have Saliba there covering. Gabriel Magalhaes covering. You know, I'm trying to talk you around. I'm not particularly in favor of Wan Bissaka. I think we can do better than that as a backup.
I mean
Behind.
it all depends what's happening, right? I mean, all right, Ben White is injured at the moment. You know, what's the club's plan for him? If he
Rumored
wasn't,
to go to Everton.
if Ben White wasn't injured, would he be someone that would be an option for sale now?
Yeah, he's rumored to go to Everton.
Or not? Who knows? Maybe they would want to keep him anyway. But there's not an option for that now because he's injured, and I'm not sure if he's going to be ready and able to be sold before the window closes. So he's still a player, and he's still a very capable player.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of trying to move away from the defence a little bit because I think that we do very well there.
well, the right back was a problem situation even when it came to the Champions League final. Now I know you're up against elite in Cavar.
Yeah, but I mean, it's unlucky that you find yourself in a situation where you've got two right backs ostensibly, right? Timber and Ben White. But they both happen to get banjaxed around a similar time. So what's the answer? Buy a third one.
And
What the third one gets injured on his way to the club? Do you buy a fourth one? Sometimes you have to look more. Do you know what I mean? You can't just buy a third one, and then when the other two are back, that third one's on the shelf now because the other two are back.
We didn't win the Champions League because they focused on our weakest link in the Champions League final, and our weakest link was that right back area.
Yeah, but the thing is, but if had Timber or Ben White been able to play, they would have. But we found ourselves that both of them were injured, so it's not our fault for not having a third one or a fourth one or a fifth. Do you know what I mean?
But shouldn't the answer been you put Ben White as your backup for Saliba? So if you have injuries, then breaking case of glass thing, you can play him as right back because his body cannot hold up to running up and down the pitch the way Arteta wants him to.
We ended up fielding Timber, and he didn't even get to go to the World Cup.
No,
and it's obvious that he was in contention because his brother went.
Yeah. As BX said, in order for Arsenal to make a jump in class, we need to spend like an elite heavyweight.
Exactly.
And I think right back.
Oh, we are now.
I think right back is an area that we do need to fortify and bring somebody in.
Do you think we'll have to dance around fair play though? Because that's what's making Newcastle instead said go for this third rebuild because they have 80% of the wealth of the Premier League. So basically, all the clubs are like, this is going to be our new rule.
We should be. The mentality should be, and I think the message that I'm getting is, it's a good team that wins the Premier League. It really is, right? But it's a great team that can retain it. And you look at something that Man City was able to do. What is it? 5 leagues in 6 seasons, something like that.
Yeah,
something like that, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's the other way around. I don't know, but that's what
it was like 7 and 10 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you're looking at. You're looking at being able to have a dynasty, being able to dominate. And we've just got ourselves into a sweet spot now where we've got a lot of good stock in Arsenal. There's a lot of focus on us. As we just mentioned, we're now in that, if it was a magnet, we're now in that part of the magnet that's pulling people towards us when it comes to players. We're not the other side where it's like, I know you are one of our best players, but you've got to go now. And I know we're getting good money for you. And people are like, well, money doesn't score the goals. It's the players. And you just sold them one of the best ones. We're not doing that. We're attracting them. We're able to look at a Bruno Guimaraes, Gummy Bears.
Yeah.
Now that he's 28 and he's reaching his peak and we all know what he can do and he's oven ready in the Premier League. And it's would be a great help. And I'm really happy that it looks like it's going to happen. That's a great addition to the squad. But that's where we are now. We're not selling a Bruno Guimaraes.
No,
to go off to be successful somewhere else.
no. He said the club are entering a new age of spending big money more consistently. Got to spend the money wisely. We got to fortify the right back position, midfield, left wing, and maybe even something up front. You know what I mean?
And left back as well, right?
You see a world where it's like Bruno Guimaraes. That's going to be what they're saying that Arsenal are ready to table a bid of, because they went in with 55 million, right? Apparently there was a bid of 55 million,
and
that was dismissed. We're not selling him, blah blah blah. But now that when they were talking about that he's now, the player has said to the club, "I'd like to do this." They're saying that behind the scenes, Arsenal are now looking to up the bid to 60.
Yeah.
And my question is, I mean, people always say, "What's the value of a player?" And the value of the player is what the buying manager thinks he's worth, because he's got to sign it off, right? Doesn't matter what we think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, even if the manager thinks, I think he's worth X, but if they're willing to, if they want to push me another 10 million, fuck it. It's not my money. I want this guy, and this guy's going to do good for us. It's the difference of maybe you thinking to yourself, well, I really want to buy Declan Rice, and personally, I'd like to maybe think that I could spend 80, maybe 85 with add-ons.
Yeah. We went another 20
with add-ons, maybe 90 with some sort of add-ons. We went to 105, and that was maybe like, well, okay, it's maybe a little bit more than what we actually think, but it's going to be worth the gamble because we're going to be successful, and that won't even be talked about, and that's what counts.
And at the time, it was Man City sniffing around for a day for Declan Rice, and we had to seal the deal at 105.
But they've done it again, haven't they? They bought the Anderson for how much?
116.
This is, and now when you're trying to buy players, it really kind of buckles the market a little bit.
These are the crazy prices.
It all kind of started with Grealish. People always look at Arsenal and say about Declan Rice, but they forget Grealish. They forget Anthony to Man United.
Anthony, Manchester United.
They forget Mudryk to Chelsea.
Casemiro.
No, there are lots of them.
Casado. Enzo Fernandez.
Yeah.
They forget about all of these other. Oh, it was Arsenal with 100. No, these other players have they've gone past that. I went past that. Casado was 120. Isak, Wirtz. Sounding like David Brent now, isn't it?
Yes.
David Brent is saying like.
That's why I would say, for those of you who are watching and worry about the prices, don't worry about the prices. The prices are going to be astronomical. They're going to be over 100 million. But we won the Premier League, and we got to the Champions League final, and we have money in the bank.
I think it was just I think it was around like 200 million just for the Champions League that we generated.
Crazy money. Tiger and Good.
You see a window here where we bring in, irrespective of other players, but in the same window we bring in Morgan Rogers and Bruno Guimaraes. In the same window.
It'd be hard to say that could happen.
And a Bradley Barcola.
I would go for a Doué or a Barcola.
Doué's not even in the chat, I think. You know what I mean? I think it's Barcola, isn't it? Which is weird, because you look at PSG and Barcola seems to be the one that has to be the understudy for Doué. But in the national team, Barcola seems to be, by Didier Deschamps, seems to be ahead of Doué.
I like Doué just a little bit better, a little bit more,
Well, you're not Deschamps. So.
I'm not Deschamps, exactly. Is it Wednesday night forum? It is, just for this week. Stan had the idea of, let's do a podcast not on a World Cup game night. So we took a good break just before the quarterfinals are about to start here in the World Cup. And obviously a little overview of Arsenal and what's happening we have something like close to a dozen Arsenal players, past and present, involved in the World Cup now. So that's interesting. We'll get into that. Stan, we'll go for another few more minutes. 10
I'm
more.
good. I'm good.
Good.
So, there was another good stat. I think it was one of the. There was that one match, the Brazil match, where um, Gabriel Megalegs and Martinelli had such a good game. It was the game where it was like they were losing, and I looked on Twitter and someone said, Brazil need a goal, and they're bringing on Martinelli. Laugh emoji, laugh emoji, laugh emoji.
He scored the winner.
He scored the winner that put him through to the next. Oh, mate.
A very Martinelli type goal.
I mean, moments like that can only do something like him good. I mean, look at where he's come from.
4th division.
You know what I mean? And there he is,
the World Cup. Unfortunately for Brazil, they have
bending that ball in for that goal. It's like bending. He's like Beckham.
Yes.
I've never seen him do that.
No.
He lost that ball in.
Unfortunately, Brazil have had to live up to the aura of the 70s, right? The previous Brazil teams, which
and the 80s.
And the 80s.
Look at it this way, right? They've got players in their squad, right? They've got that Igor Jesus who comes from Brentford.
Bradford.
And they got Ryan from Bournemouth. And it's like, no disrespect, but I mean, like,
yeah.
When's that happening? When's that happening in the Brazil squad? And they could kind of, I like Ryan, but I mean, that's where they are. And why they took Neymar instead of João Pedro? Nah, man. Again, it's all of this it's all of this bending to the big names, the Ronaldos, the Messis, the Neymars. I mean, come on. I mean, I like Ancelotti, but the fact that he picked Neymar, and he was buckled. He was kind of buckled before he went instead of a João Pedro, and look how it turned out. No,
not good.
No.
Welcome, Miss Molina, to the podcast.
Would you ever take that job, Stan, to be the Brazilian national team manager?
Sure, I would.
Well, listen, I work for a security company as a business development, and so if I got a phone call tomorrow from the Brazilian, I'm pretty sure the perks are. Of course, I'm going to take it.
I think you take it.
Listen, me taking it doesn't mean I'm going to be any good at it. Let's have that. Oh. Let me just put that out there. Doesn't mean I'm going to be any good, but the salary,
they would expect you to be good.
They would. I get to sit in the boxes to watch games. I'll milk it for as long as I could, but
they obviously looked at the body of your work, Stan, and said you were good enough for the Brazil national team.
What a question! Would I take it? So I'm saying, if you were offered the throne of England, would you take it? We'd be like,
put that scepter on me now.
Yeah.
But do you know who I think could work in that job?
The Brazil team.
Yeah. Think of somebody that just took another job that speaks Portuguese.
Who, Pep?
No, Jose.
Yeah, but
Jose Mourinho.
Here's the thing, though, right? Why the only reason I disagree with that is because I'm of the thought that when it comes to international football, when it comes to the World Cup and international teams, the players and the manager should at least be of citizenship of that said country.
Agreed.
It's the World Cup, and the theme should be is that the country A is going to put up the best that they have, the best that they can come up with against country B, C, D, E. You know what I mean? And it's going to be the best one standing. So having like an English team managed by a German, to me, I just think it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Absolutely ridiculous. How is that international football?
And then, like, if he would come up against Germany, how do you feel? You're a citizen of that country. You want your country to win.
It shouldn't even get to that. It's international football.
Yeah. Well, it's like Big Sam, isn't it? Big Sam.
I get it, right? You look at someone like Kylian Mbappe. He's French, but he could have played for Cameroon. But it's no different to myself. Had I been a professional footballer, I would be right now at this age. I'm eligible to play for England, Canada, because of citizenships, Jamaica and Scotland.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about those players that it is like
because of my genes?
Choice? But how do you feel about those that it is their third or fourth choice? on their
It's up to the
citizenship.
individual.
Yeah,
You're okay with that?
Okay, let's just look
Yeah,
at let's just look at me, right? Let's say I was a professional footballer. There I am, running around playing professional football, and then I get a phone call from the Jamaican international team, and they say, "All right, Stan, do you want to come play football for Jamaica?" And I'm like, "Okay, let me just and let me just think about it." And I put the phone down, and the phone rings again, and
Scotland.
it's now the Scottish FA. I should have done accents, didn't I? I should have done accents. So the Jamaican, let's go back. The Jamaican FA ring up. They go, "All right, stand the man. You want to play football for us? We think you'd be really airy." And I'm like, "Okay, let me think about that." And then the phone rings again, right? And see Scotland on the phone. They're like, "Okay, there, Stanley." I can't do the accent. Would you
You're great.
football for us? Do you know what I mean? I'm like, "Okay, let me think about that." And then the phone rings again, right? And it's the England team. They're like, "Oh, good afternoon. Am I speaking to Mr. Stanley? Yes. Would you like to play? Would you like to come and play football for us?" You know, and so on. And Canada.
Do the Jesse Marsh. Come on, do Jesse Marsh, Canada.
Canada ring up and they're like, "I can't do it." Kind of sounds American, but they go oops in the boots.
French Canadian. Do French Canadian, Stan.
Can I get cancelled for doing all of this?
This is Stan the man from Vancouver. Everybody. He should.
But you know what I'm saying, right? I'm getting all these phone calls.
Best accent of the
Who am I
four.
gonna pick? Tony, who would you pick? Who am I going to pick? Obviously, you're looking at it and you're thinking, well, out of all of these,
Scotland.
I'm definitely going to go and play for Jamaica because, you know,
Oh,
their
Scotland.
training camps in a warmer climate. I can get some good weed. They have Red Stripe as their local beer. Nice beaches. So, yeah. No, obviously, you're going to look and think
what's your best
England are going to be, you know, what you're looking at thinking, well, they've got
Yeah, but you'll be sitting on the bench. You'll just be happy to be there, like a second choice goalkeeper. You'll be.
No, right. In this scenario, I'm not sitting on the bench. I'm like scoring hat
I'm
tricks.
starting.
In this scenario.
Boy, it's Stan of the Rovers
That's why
here.
I've got 4 countries ringing me. They're not ringing me to pad out the numbers. They're ringing me for the fucking conversion rate.
No,
In this scenario.
no. We
All right?
needed experience. We needed experience.
Don't
Second
spoil it,
goal.
put it all mapped out. You know what I mean? I'll go on to win the World Cup.
Stan, you know in these baseball movies where they hire a veteran to bring the young guy along, show him the ropes. You're the veteran. You're Kevin Costner in Bull Durham. You're Kevin Costner in Bull Durham.
Stan just
I've
did
thrown one
himself as
touchdown too many.
Stan just did himself as Holland, where he's
I'm
got
not hitting any more home
like
runs, kid.
where Holland's played like what?
You gotta
He's
do it.
played like 55 games for Norway and scored 64. It's just
Amazing, right? I don't like Haaland as in his club, in the club team that he's in.
It's funny, I was sitting there watching them play, right? And I can't remember what game it was. It was in the qualifying, and I was sat in the geezer that I work with, right? He's a bit older than me, Brazilian, loves football. And we're sitting there watching a Norway game, and we're both going, "Look at Haaland, man. He doesn't even do anything. He just stands there lurking, and he's like, yeah, he's just lurking." And then we just sat there, and we're silent for like a few seconds, and he scored a goal. And we just looked at each other and went, "Just see what." Do you know what I mean? He just knows how to score goals. He's just in the right place, but you know what I mean? He's not. He's a talent. Don't get me wrong. He's a talent. I'm not saying he's lucky or anything like that, but his way of playing, it's like, and it's not a fluke. He's been able to maintain this now in different leagues, different places. I mean, when he played in Germany, fucking hell, it was a monster there as well. Comes and does it. Can step onto the world stage. And you know, his job is to score goals, and he does that. Because totally different players, but they both do. They both score totally different. Would be excellent.
Yeah, because I had a few dollars on Norway England double, and it came off. I was rooting for Norway to beat Brazil, but I kind of felt bad for our own Gabriel Magalhaes because is he starting to be shown up a little bit by Haaland in recent club.
It's
and
going to go
country.
either way. There's going to be games where he's going to be in Gabriel's pocket. There's going to be games where it's going to be like he's going to get a better of him. That's the
But
competitive.
more
right?
often than
You know
not,
what I
though, Gabriel's been coming out ahead most of the time.
Well, he didn't come out ahead at the Etihad. There was a wrestling match.
Nah,
He
nah.
lost. Well, that goal should have been chalked off. I'll still
Yeah.
maintain that. Now we won the league, we can talk about it. But he was pulled like a rag doll.
It's
I'm
going to
sorry.
be one of them ones where, like, 15 years from now, where there's like a documentary about the Premier League at this time, and they're talking to them, and they're a bit older now, and they're talking about, who was the one player that you always used to like think about you were coming up against, and you'd be like,
Yeah.
yo, Gabriel Megalegs, and vice versa. There's going to be that. You know what I'm getting at?
Well,
There will.
it's got that late
Norwegian
90s.
accent.
It was
No,
good.
get that in.
But it's got that late 90s,
I'm on a roll.
early 2000s
You
Arsenal,
gotta look into
Manchester.
Brazilian now.
But doesn't it have that feel, Ray, where it's Manchester United and Arsenal in the late 90s, early 2000s, where they'll be telling
Roy
stories
Keane,
about it 20 years from now?
Yeah, Roy Keane and Vieira, those kind of battles. Now it's like a striker versus a defender. Mark Hughes used to be that kind of striker as well. You know what I mean? Up against Tony Adams.
Gabriel only needs one goal to be our all-time leading defender scorer.
Yeah.
And he's a center back. He's a center back.
I don't like to pick. I always
He's
try
not a fullback.
He's one of the rare Arsenal players that I've really got a soft spot for. I've tried to grow out of him. I've said it before, right? I've tried to look at them as units of production. And I always say, if you want to sell an Arsenal player, doesn't matter who it is, I'm fine by that. The only golden rule is if you're going to sell that player, they need to be replaced with an upgrade. Because that means an upgrade means you're getting better. If you do that, I can't complain. But there's one of the players in this squad that I really like. There's a couple. But for me, one of the most important ones is Gabriel Megalegs. I really like this player. From what he's become when he first came at Arsenal, remember, he used to be a little bit rash and get needless bookings. And he managed to be able to improve on that and become a really good left-footed centre-back. Yeah. For me, I would say that if you were saying to me, and this is just my opinion, let's say a Premier team was created right now, a new Premier team, and the chairman said to me, right, I've got an opportunity. You can either buy either William Saliba or Gabriel Megalegs. Only one though. Yeah. I can buy them. Which one would you like me to buy for you? My choice.
It's a quick, easy decision for me.
My choice would be Megalegs.
Oh, I don't know.
That's just my opinion. I'm not saying it's the right choice. It's just my choice.
Tony would go for Gabriel too, but don't make me make.
I mean, he's went to this guy. He's at this point where
he loves him.
He'll only pick up 3 or 4 yellows your entire season. Saliba still gives away penalties.
It's not an easy choice. It's not an easy choice.
But he's got 4 or 5 goals in him a year.
Goals and leadership ability. But I do.
To me, he's still your de facto captain, and Rice.
I can't believe that. Totally vice captain. I'm like, Tony, praise the fucking Lord, man.
It took you forever to fully convert you to being pro Gabriel, but
I'm loving this. I'm loving this, Tony.
Tony was anti-Saliba.
I'm not anti-Saliba at all. I said it's a difficult
Tony
job
was.
For me. I think that Gabriel Megalegs in our Arsenal team is a real fucking asset. Real fucking asset. And I'm fortunate enough that we've got Saliba. It's a little bit like, I tell you, it's like being spoiled. It's like when we had Dennis Bergkamp and we also had Thierry Henry playing in the same team. I always used to think to myself, we're really spoiled here. Usually they'd be in the same league, but they'd be in different teams. It wouldn't have them in the one team. Because that's just like fucking hell. And that's where we were. Not only did we have Dennis Bergkamp, we had Thierry Henry. Not only did we have Thierry Henry, we had Dennis Bergkamp. In one, you know what I mean? And we've got that now in a defensive way. We've got Megalegs and Saliba. You'd usually
Yeah.
have maybe one or the other. We've got
Yeah.
both of them. Like it's we're very lucky and fortunate to have that pairing.
As BX
Eh,
said, we have a world class center back pairing. Yeah.
if we invented a formation for Bergkamp and Henri, have him with 4-4-1-1, just kind of like in the day we had with WM that we invented.
Yeah. BX said, did the Isak saga open the doors for this to happen to Newcastle? As I think Stan explained earlier, it's you're rehashing your team into a second revolution,
Third, as Stan said.
third revolution as well. And so Mega Legs look or get Bruno Gamares looks around the dressing room and says, all the players are leaving. I might as well leave too. And I'm in a World Cup with Arsenal players who are telling me, they're probably telling us the DNA. Remember the Barcelona DNA? Well,
Yeah.
maybe it's the Arsenal DNA now. You know what I mean? Ben White should be sold, says Retroholic Gamer. Timber, too. Neither of them are natural right backs. Our left side going forward.
We don't have a natural right or left back, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
They're all center backs.
Somehow we make it work. Bruno reminds me when Chelsea signed Ballack. Evening stand from Miss Molina. Even Tony from Miss Molina. Either Rogers or Bruno would be excellent mentors and teachers for Miles Lewis Skelly's progression. Yeah, I think Bruno. For me, I favor Bruno over Rogers. If it's going to be one or the other, because I feel Bruno would settle into the team and find our patterns. It would be much easier um, acclimation to our Arsenal team than Rogers would be. So I
How
just have
how would you feel if the plan is that we brought in gummy bears, right? But the plan is that Rogers is there to be on the left. That's what I think.
I wouldn't
do that. That's what we're going to do. We're going to have him on the left.
I wouldn't love it, but I actually trust the talent spotting.
I don't know what Mikel's doing, right? He's getting him in the team, but he's not disrupting the midfield, right? He's not having to think about, am I going to leave the guard? Am I going to do this? It doesn't mean he has to be a winger. I mean,
I think he's replacing Odegaard. I think Odegaard will leave. I don't see him staying.
Ooh.
I just don't see him staying.
Odegaard.
For what reason?
Edged out.
He's not being edged out, is he?
Yeah, but he's not being used in the way he wants to be used.
How does he want to be used?
I imagine he wants to be attacking like he was his first year and a half at the club.
Yeah, but that didn't win him the league. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Haaland's really making up for lost time, says BX.
Does Martin Odegaard want to score 15 goals a season, or does he want to win league titles? And think, okay, I'm going to listen to this manager that seems to know what he's doing. You know, sometimes it's like, you know what I mean? When he gets to like 32, he could go back to playing in the Norwegian team, you know, his kid team, and he can go there and score loads of goals, and you know, like they usually do. They play their last season back at home.
Yeah, it's their home league.
Do you think he'll? Yeah, but if you're going to the bench, if you go to the bench and lose your captaincy, are you really going to stay?
There's no way that I'm thinking of selling Martin Odegaard this summer, personally. I don't think that is. There has been a dip. I'm not going to. There obviously has been a dip.
Yeah.
But I still think that. I mean,
does he look better with Norway?
World Cup. He's been really good in the World Cup.
Yeah. Has he
looked better? One of the things I did notice, I was watching him when especially in the early games in their group when they were coming on. I kept thinking, look at Martin Odegaard. He's fucking. All of a sudden, he's like playing the whole 90 minutes. When he's at Arsenal, he's fucking lucky to get fucking 60 out of him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? On a good day. And I did think that. Maybe I'm not warranted to, and maybe the stats will say I'm wrong, but the eye test, I was thinking, it seems so long where it feels like Martin Odegaard finished in 90 minutes. And there he is at the World Cup, playing 90 minutes all the time
Yeah.
and looking really good.
The
So
manager,
is it a case that he's just come into form now, or was it a case that some of those times when he was being taken off and withdrawn, because he'd been withdrawn from games a lot, was it a case that he could have played the 90 minutes, but Mikel Arteta was like, I want to do something different?
but
Was
he
the
did
manager
have
like, you know what, this is not working, I want to do something different?
he did have injuries this season though, Stan, and Eze came to the fore because Odegaard had injuries.
But should have Eze been there more though?
Injuries. And he's gone to the World Cup, and he's not like starting, late, or he's gone there and he's played 90 minutes.
Yeah, because he's grown stronger because he didn't have a full season.
Okay.
Mikel Merino, he's played a part for Spain going through into the quarterfinals now. Who knows what he could do in the semi-final or final? We know he's got an eye for a goal, Mikel Merino.
Yeah,
So the same thing is happening, I think, with Odegaard. He's having a strong World Cup because he's not tired. Declan Rice worries me something. You see pictures of him on the sideline with like ice on his thigh, and uh, he's a player that has to be protected from himself. But the managers don't seem to do that because he is valuable. Um, on the
in those situations, you have to say to yourself, as a manager, how many weeks does this player actually need to be able to come back into this team?
Yeah.
At the value of the money that we paid for them, where they're supposed to be at their best, rather than do we keep going with this player at 75%?
Yeah.
For example,
should we give him the first month off from the start?
Whatever it might take.
It might take that much. These players. Yeah.
I'm sure I remember, again, reading somewhere, who knows, on the internet probably, but it was something about, a top athlete, as in a football player, they should have 4 weeks off a year.
Yeah.
4 weeks.
Yeah.
And when does that happen? If you play at international level, when does that happen?
Not lately. Yeah.
4 weeks.
Yeah. So we shouldn't expect players in August that are playing this month. We should not expect them in August, right? These 10 players we're talking about right now.
Yep, but you've seen them come back within 2 weeks of the season starting, right? Or even with first week.
But I see that.
With Saka, Rice.
The doctors, the health people, they're saying that they should have 4.
Yeah. And we'll have to see, right, who goes through, who gets knocked out in the next coming days. They book their holidays, they go away for a few weeks.
And I would imagine the key reason they believe it's 4 is not just so that they can get a nice suntan, it's recovery. They reckon that in order to recover substantially and be ready to go again at your optimum for the next season, the next campaign, we recommend that a player has 4 weeks in between at least rest.
So let's go.
Top player isn't getting that.
There's 6 weeks until the season starts, and you got two weeks left of a World Cup, and you got 10 current Arsenal players in there.
Pre-season has to be a pre-season, right?
There has to be.
The only thing I've heard is the Emirates Cup. I don't think we're going to be coming to America.
We've seen this 4 years ago and 8 years ago. We've seen this. The players that get to the semifinals or the final of a World Cup don't participate too much in preseason games. You're going to have Mikel Arteta in the middle of August is going to have half a team to play preseason games with, right? We're going to then go into a Premier League campaign with players who are 50% fitness levels, and we'll have to build.
And what if one of your transfer targets is still in the competition?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's less inspiration time, and then before you know where you are, they're not doing it at a time. It's like the
And-
Gyökeres. The Gyökeres didn't have a pre-season, so that's why he's shit. We got to go through that.
And we've had this problem before. Stan's seen him in person. I think Ray has. You had Torreya that went deep into a South American World Cup, went back to Europe, signed a deal, went back to South America for
Yeah,
another week or two.
yeah.
Then he came back to Arsenal, and he was in the orange the entire season. In the last 2 months, he's in the red, and it burned him out. He didn't like rain, didn't acclimate to England, hated it. He didn't have that South American grit that you thought you were getting, that you usually get,
Yeah.
that you usually get, and that's what you can't do. And we're to do that with at least 4 or 5 of these players.
Tiger and Gunnar has mentioned the very, very far away trip of Ireland to as one of the preseason games. And intentionally, I think the club has planned the games to be close, the least amount of travel after this World Cup. So, Ireland's not far away for a game to be played.
But apparently as well, Bournemouth have offered a new contract to Alex Scott, and he said no, thank you.
Right. I mean, Bournemouth's got a lot of good players. And Krupi could be one of them.
Yeah, Tottenham making moves, didn't they? So they've signed Tonali. That's happened, I think, now.
Yep.
And it looks like they want to go for Krupi for 85 million. Seems to be really getting a lot of headlines.
Yeah, we'll have to see as
how are they to keep in financial fair play?
I don't think it is anymore financial fair play anymore.
Well, whatever it's called,
different, but I don't think it's.
But that's what hindered Newcastle, and that's why those clubs were trading players for 15 million pounds that were worth 30 million.
It did not.
But that finances work. But the money they make from their stadium outside of football for events, I think is more than what the football club actually makes. They have a big income. I don't know how you're supposed to spend it or anything like that. Whether that counts, but they have a big fucking income.
But that I think that's how City got by with it, because they had all this income and no debt.
$270 a week.
But
that's big for Tottenham. That's big fucking. That's a big deal for Tottenham. Paying players that money. That's a big. Tottenham don't do that. Tottenham don't pay players over 200 grand a week. Do me a favour.
Especially with a new stadium.
That's a big investment.
Yeah. It remains to be seen what Tottenham are going to do. All right, let's get into the brackets for the World Cup and wind this thing up a little bit here. All right, first and foremost, Dan, Norway versus England. What's your prediction? On Saturday at 5 p.m., so it'll be a 2 p.m. in the afternoon for you. Norway have been dangerous, and England cannot defend.
It's very difficult because at the end of the day, you can't just go, I think it'll be a draw. It doesn't work like that. Someone has to walk away a winner.
Yes.
And I've got to go with England. It's my country. You know what I mean? But it wouldn't surprise me. I think that Norway are really good opponents, because the way that they've been playing in this tournament, they've looked, the real deal, Norway. And Haaland, Haaland looks like he's just look at what he's doing, man. The way he scores his goals. I mean, he really. If you've got him in your team, that really elevates what you're able to do. Do you know what I mean?
You're almost a +1.
He could be the difference.
Harry Kane. Let's not discount
Sir Harry Kane, as he's called on our broadcast.
Sir Harry.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, I don't think that Norway are a pushover at all.
No. England cannot defend very well. England, although they held out Mexico.
And that's what we would think. Can England stop Holland, or can Holland stop Kane.
Here's the question: can England score 3 goals against Norway? I think they're capable of scoring 3 goals against Norway because they're going to concede 1 or 2. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
Jude Bellingham's a very good player, man.
Jude is good.
He's a good player.
He crashed. He crashed for 2 goals there very well. All right,
He's a
so
good
I'm
player.
going to go with Norway just for some balance. I'm going to pick Norway. So Tony, you get to decide England or Norway go through. Could it go to penalties?
It could.
Again. Not again. England again.
Don't like penalties.
That's such
In
an
the
encore,
quarterfinal.
isn't it? I've seen that so many times now.
Quarterfinal.
I know I want Norway to win, but I don't know. I just think somehow
Head over heart, Tony.
I think England squeaks it out somehow.
Okay, you got England.
It might be giving us a heart attack, but I mean,
Yeah.
I think England find some way to push through.
I do think
through
that, I think that when you're playing in an international team and maybe it's not like you're the same team that was in the previous tournament 4 years ago, or maybe not even the same lineup that was in the Euros competition 2 years ago, and you've got maybe some new faces in this team. It's all well and good doing the training and being in the hotel on the same airplane and on the same coach, but you're still kind of like getting to know people. Some people are very slow in coming forward. It takes a while to get to know people. But when you put yourself into that situation where you're doing your job, which is a footballer, at the Azteca Stadium with 80,000 spectators, all of that high altitude against Mexico, who were the home crowd. As a footballer, as an individual, this doesn't come along when you was a kid and you said, I want to be a footballer when I grow up, you didn't imagine that would be like what you'd be doing. And I think that to play the game that they did, to go down to 10 men, to have to readapt, to play a different way, to see it out and to win. Again, you can't play for a draw. That's the sort of match that if you didn't know really much about the other players that are with you, at the end of that, there's a big bond now. As a team, you really feel as one. You really feel like you trust the guy to your left. I trust the guy to my right. We went there together. No one let us down. We managed to get through that. You know what I mean? If we can maintain this to the next round, it's like you get belief and trust in those players around you. You now all feel we are a unit.
I'll buy that.
In that Mexican game, I think that's
I'll buy that.
Good.
You gain belief, you gain trust within the players, but on the other side, you were a man down for a big part of the game, and at a high altitude, you do wonder.
You got to work harder now.
You do wonder,
and you're not going to do that if you're not willing to do it, because if you don't like that person next to you, you're not gonna. No. You're not getting at. You went down to 10 men, and rather than throwing your hands up in the air, you dug in more, and you managed to get. You know what I'm getting at.
I tell you what, very, very much like Arsenal, these international teams, what you hear from them is the confidence and trust and belief. Belief is important in big time sports as well. If you believe and you have that inner belief in yourself that you're going to come through, that's what can carry you most of the time. Who are you gonna face, Stan? Argentina or Switzerland? To me, it looks pretty one-sided. Switzerland have done well to get through on penalties, but Argentina there's something about Argentina with Cape Verde, we talked about earlier in the podcast, and now beating Egypt. They were 2 goals down with 10 minutes to go.
And I think that when people talk about Ronaldo and Messi as that competition, and the games that I've seen in this competition, it was kind of like where, with Ronaldo being in the team, that's what the rest of the team, they had to go along with it, and they had to try and find a way to try and make it work to suit Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Whereas, and had the manager decided maybe in one of the matches to have not started Ronaldo and started with someone else, I don't think there would have been that much of a uproar within the players. Whereas when you look at Messi, as much as I want Argentina to go out, but what you're looking at is the team really love this guy. They really want this guy to get the records and the accolades.
Yeah.
You know, it really is about this.
Messi,
They really, you know, they're working for him. They're able to pick up some of the shortcomings he may have in his game because of his age, and they're covering and helping him, and they're willing this guy to win. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that
as,
Portugal for Ronaldo.
4 years ago, Messi fulfilled his legacy, which was to be amongst the greats in Argentina, Maradona, especially, right? So within Argentina, he's already seen as acquired those the same level as maybe Maradona, maybe not quite as
Oh
high
yeah,
as
he's at
Maradona.
that level where you have people that support Messi. They're not Argent. Like there was an American guy being interviewed. He was going to one of the matches, and he says, "Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Not because he supported Argentina. He said, I'm looking forward to it because I really want to see Messi play football. I really want to see this guy play football." That sold a ticket.
So
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's where this guy is level is at. It's not
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm going because I want to see Argentina versus this team, the matchup and all that. No, he was going specifically because it was his one opportunity. It was easy to get to. He could afford it, whatever. He wanted to see this guy Messi play football. That's that's different level. That's like Pele, right? That's like Pele levels.
yeah. So that being said, it does look pretty one-sided against Switzerland. Granit Xhaka and crew will be up
It's
against.
not impossible though,
No,
because we've seen that Argentina can be got at. They don't look
Yeah.
impenetrable. They've
Yeah.
looked. There's been a couple of times so far where you're like, they're going out. Fuck me. Argentina are going. Oh no, they're not. They're not. No, they're not.
Yeah, you can't live.
And then again in the same match, you're like, they're not. They're not. They're not. Oh, maybe they are because something else happens.
But you
No,
can't live.
fuck it.
You can't get through a whole
No, they're not.
competition. You can't get through a whole competition being lucky like that, or perceived to be lucky, even though
But
There has been a lot
this
of
is
that.
this is the best
Tony?
team they played though. This would be the sweet. This would be the best team they went up against.
who Switzerland.
Our Argentina. This would be their hardest competition in the knockouts. They had a weak World Cup or
They're going to play
qualifier, not
Switzerland,
qual-
Tony.
but the friendlies they played before, they weren't stiff competition. They haven't faced it. This will be the stiffest one they've faced. They've gotten lucky. Hopefully, world's because
It's hard
because
to
I,
explain.
because
They're
I
lucky.
mean
Were they lucky, or
uh,
did they show the quality, or were they lucky?
they
I know
were
the
lucky. That foul should have been called
controversy.
back.
Yeah,
It
It's a
should
bit
have
of
been
each.
called back.
You know, it's a
What-
bit of each. You know, because at the end of the day, I do agree that in that Egypt game, looking back at it and last with this video that was highlighting stuff, there were some little calls that Egypt just didn't get. But
Yeah.
that aside, if you're 2-0 up, you got to see that out. There's two sides to me. There's two sides for it.
Yeah.
2-0 up, you got to see that out. Okay,
Yeah.
it's made more difficult if you're not getting the shout. It's going to make it more difficult.
That's
It
tough
is.
for Egypt. That is tough for Egypt.
I do look at Argentina and I think to myself, with the teams that are left, obviously my heart there is with England because that's my team. But you look at a team like France.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? You look at a team like Spain as well. And I think France and Spain, and I look at Argentina, and Argentina for me, they've looked like they have been got at with teams that have lesser quality than those teams.
Are you saying that's
Really
the
struggled.
weaker-
They really had to rinse it out and wring it out against teams that are at a lower level than what's left.
Are you saying that
It might be a step too far.
Are you saying there's a weaker side of the bracket here? Are you saying Argentina, Switzerland, Norway, England?
I'm just saying that Argentina haven't looked comfortable. I'm
Right.
saying that they have, you know what I mean? They have looked more. They have looked under pressure with teams that I would say were lesser than Switzerland
Okay.
in
All right.
experience and quality. So I'm
All
getting
right. Call it. Who's going through? Argentina, Switzerland.
Oh, probably Argentina because this is like World Cup Messi,
Yeah.
isn't it? They,
Totally.
you know, they you know, FIFA probably send Messi Valentine's cards. That's how much
I'm
they love him.
going. I'm going
How
Argentina,
much
and
they love
it's
him. They're
not.
sending Valentine's cards and chocolates. How
It's
much they
not
love him.
helped. It's not helped by the referee. I'm going Argentina, and I think they go through without any help from the referee.
I,
Tony.
I oh, this was another one of those. Do you go with your heart, hoping that Argentina gets beat? I mean, they're starting to turn into a behemoth that they're replacing Brazil
Yeah.
in South America,
True. You like
and
Martinez as well, don't you?
I do not.
You like
He,
Lautaro. You like
oh,
Lautaro Martinez,
yes, I like that
not
one.
the other one.
Not the other one that was at Arsenal for 9 or 10 seasons.
All right.
How does one of the managers not like spot his quality? You, I mean, you had
Uh,
Wenger, you had
uh,
you had Emery, which
I
is so.
I
I
think
mean,
there's many documented situations where a player is given a chance and he takes his chance. Took
but
him
but
9 years.
but it's crazy. It's like here he is winning the trophies that
Yeah.
he's won, and
So I think that this is the weaker side of the draw, and England or Norway or Argentina have a great chance to get to the final. I can't really call it. You know, who's going to get to the final? Who
no,
comes out of that bracket and gets to the final? Argentina, Norway, or England?
I mean your instinct would say Argentina, but I think England probably has the best top to bottom team.
Even defensively, they're not very good defensively.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things though. It's like if other teams attack it,
Yeah,
you still have Sir Harry Kane back there that
you
can
just can't
get
imagine
get you get
Norway.
you go.
You just can't imagine Norway getting to a semi-final either. You know,
No, not
traditionally
no,
England.
not unless Argentina gets knocked out.
All right, Tiger and Gunnar jumped the gun a little bit, but because he jumped the gun a little bit, we're gonna allow him to lead the conversation. To Morocco, thank you, Tiger and Gunnar. Hey, I know there's a time difference, but you still jumped the gun. Um,
Eh,
what is he?
I,
Hours ahead? He's 12 hours ahead of us, right? Tiger and Gunnar.
I'm not sure since he's on the west coast of Australia.
West Coast Tiger. Um, okay, Tony, it's going to be Morocco and France.
What time is it, Tiger?
Yeah. What time is it?
You,
It's in the
you
morning.
asked me.
10 in the
Er,
morning or 11 in the morning, something like that, right? Um,
Yep.
Tony, Morocco and France. Now, I didn't like France's the way they approached Paraguay. I didn't
No.
like I didn't like their antics. I listen. I okay. Paraguay might have been physical, but what do you want a team that's not as talented to do? Lay down and die? I didn't like France's antics in that game.
Yeah.
And
There's kind of one of those there's one of those teams that kind of went to not really taking it to other team like you've seen
12
with
hours.
Netherlands getting knocked out.
Yeah,
See, I
12
thought the
hours.
other way. I
Huh?
didn't like Paraguay's antics.
I see. That's okay. That's okay. We differ. We differ on this.
I didn't like their
I,
antics at all.
so, but what did you want them to do? Just lay down and be
No, I
beaten?
just thought they were like feigning injury at times. It was like you'd like breeze past someone and they'd fall over.
Well,
I
the
also
French
thought
were doing
that.
that as well, Stan. The
No,
French were doing
okay,
that
but
as
I
well.
just I'm just saying from the lens that I watched it through, me, and I'm not saying because I favour France at all.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I thought
yeah.
that Paraguay, and then what came afterwards with that senator and her remarks about Mbappe and the way that's all blown up as well. It's just unbelievable. You just like,
Santa,
are you, huh?
what happened? Who said what?
Well, there's this Paraguay senator. I wish I had the remarks
Oh,
ready because I thought
Canada.
that
Okay,
she was saying something like
right.
Mbappe, he doesn't even know how to write. He didn't even have his mother's milk because he was on coconut milk.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
all right.
talking
Yeah,
about chimpanzees, and I'm paraphrasing, but you read it, listen, but it's one of the ones where you read it and you're like, is this for real?
you can't believe it. Yeah,
You know what I mean? That's what she put out, and then she tried to delete it, and then what happened was she done that, and everyone was like, this is like she's like a senator. She's in like in
power.
in power. Yeah,
The,
and I think
the
she's
power.
maybe like she's running for mayor, or I don't know what she's running for something, but she's a prominent person in this government. And then what happened was Mbappe came out and was just like, I think your comments, are despicable. He
Yeah,
said something like, for someone that's supposed to hold office and the power that you have, this is really bad. You are a despicable woman. And there was other comments and this, that, and the other. And I will never be, allow this kind of racism. But anyway, she then came back and she was like, "You called me a despicable woman," and she started to play on the woman card, and it was like it took me ages to become in this position, and because and you talk about, she started to basically play a victim card after what she started this whole thing, and then she was like, if Kylian Mbappe doesn't retract what he said, I'm gonna like seek legal action, and everyone's just like,
nuts.
you started the whole thing, you started this whole ball rolling, you
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
So
Crazy.
this has been, I don't know, it's, we don't, obviously we don't like to have this thing kind of stuff involved in football, but it's really blown up. And this woman, it's like she's not digging a hole. She's like got a whole bulldozer, and she's just going and
Yeah,
going. Even when it's like, oh, fuck, sometimes when you fuck up, you go to a meeting and you might say them,
you
or
dump it
you
out.
go to a company, do
Yeah,
you have too much to drink, and you wake up thinking, did I say the wrong thing in front of the boss? She's gone right through that barrier. She's
yeah,
just
yeah.
like, you're like, you said all that shit and you were sober.
Not cool.
What the fuck? So there's
Not
that
cool.
going on, and now there's another thing going on where something about the FBI wanting to investigate Argentina, something to do with the Argentina football team, to do with money laundering to the tune of $300 million. I haven't read the whole thing. I've just seen a couple of headlines, and I'm like, what's all of this?
There'll be a couple of Netflix shows in a few years coming out.
Oh, yeah,
Also,
Corruption,
material, a lot of material. Yeah.
alleged corruption.
And one last thing, Tony, it's bad, right? When Sepp Blatter, remember Sepp Blatter, who had to leave in shame, when he's coming in with some sort of moralistic compass. You're like, you're the guy that probably pocketed like more than anyone out of
Yeah,
stuff, allegedly,
there's
and
a
you're the
Netflix.
moral compass. You're the one we're listening to.
Wow,
Sorry, Tony.
Tony.
I was going to say you had because of a Trump card. Now you're having the Olympic Committee trying to get some bans on the 2028 Olympics because of that corruption, and that I said it during Gary's show. It's like seeing some of the free flow in football and stuff reminded me why I love football. But the Argentina and the US thing, it reminded me why I hated and didn't watch the last World Cup because you had this corruption that goes back to Russia and Qatar. You had slave labor building your World
Yeah,
Cup.
yeah.
And it's just like, how did that happen? How does the Russia thing happen right after?
I,
Because they had the Winter Olympics, then
and the
they
other thing,
fucking go
you
and
have
attack another country, then they attack Ukraine. It's just
and you don't have hydration breaks. We're not having hydration breaks. We're having commercial breaks. You know what I
And,
mean? For the
the other
players,
night,
they
but
can
but
like
but
sell
but
advertising.
the other night it was 55 degrees in Vancouver. So
Yeah,
why the fuck do you need a hydration break?
And it's not even the
I
fact that
mean,
it's not even the fact that they're doing it. They're having hydration breaks. It's the fact that they're not just telling us we're doing a commercial
they're
break.
going straight to commercial,
That's for me is
straight
the
to
problem. It's not
commercial.
the fact that they're doing hydration breaks. It's the fact that they're doing it to masquerade what it is that they're really doing, and they think that I'm stupid enough to not fucking see what's going on. That's what pisses me off. Just tell me we're
I,
gonna let's say to be honest and just say we're gonna have commercial breaks
yeah,
and let me be pissed off about it. But at least you're telling me, right? Rather than trying to pretend, oh, it's for the players' safety.
yeah. No,
Think of the
instead,
children. The children. It's one of them ones. Think of the children. Clutches pearls. It's like, what are you talking about?
for me, Stan, it reminds me of wrestling.
It's
You
about
just had
KFC. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
you just
It's about
had
the
you
mobile, it's
just
about
had
the
Beer
mobile
and chicken.
operator that you use for your mobile phone. That's what it's about. It's about
Yeah.
the beer.
but back in
Beer.
April you had WrestleMania. It's
In
on
short.
ESPN here in the United States, and it would go to commercial. And if you're in the rest of the world, it was Netflix, and you were going to the Hulk Hogan documentary.
Yeah.
You
Look.
basically got to see half the Hulk Hogan documentary watching it. It just
Yeah.
you have to have all these services and everything to watch all this, but they still give you fucking ads during it. It's
Yeah. As Tiger says, Australia playing hotter temperatures and no hydration break. It's not. It's not. It's about the commercials, about the ads, about the moolah, the money. Bring in the lettuce. You know what I mean? All right, Stan. France and Morocco. Does Morocco have a chance?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think so.
I'd give them more than a snowball's chance, right?
We got a
I mean
chance.
they're in the final four last time, so I mean can
Look,
they get to the
Marco
semis
Elise,
again?
man. You look at Marco Elise for France. He's making a lot of things happen in that
Has
French
he
team.
been good? I didn't think he's
Yeah.
been
No, he's been
amazing.
good. He's been very
Okay.
good. They originally when they started well. You know when you look on your phone to see what the formation is, it looked that they had Elise to the right and then
Yeah.
Dembele in the middle behind Mbappe.
Yeah.
And then after a game, maybe 2 games, maybe a game and a half, it changed. He put Elise in the middle and he put Dembele on the right of that attack. And it seemed to have benefited both players, not just one or the
Yeah.
other. It
It
seems to have
does seem
benefited
like
both players by
they have.
just that one change.
Does seem like they have a
That's what
fluid
they're sticking with now. That's what Didier Deschamps
attacking.
is sticking with now.
The front three can be very fluid and can play anywhere, probably up there.
There's one of those like I don't know if Stan has the same options, but for us we can click and you can do a performance view where you see the whole field, you can see the formations and whatnot that you can't see in a normal
Well, coaches,
broadcasting view.
we can see the coaches cam on some of the YouTubes as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tony, France win or Morocco?
I mean, France
Put
should
your
get
head over
through.
your heart again.
Yeah,
France.
I think for France.
I think France will go through, Stan.
Yeah, I mean,
I
Mbappe is just a goal machine, isn't he?
I wouldn't be shocked if Morocco grabbed the lead and put them under a bit of pressure. You know what I
Mbappe,
mean?
they got the attacking for France is very good, and
All
the
right.
depth that they have.
That's
It's one of those you can
tomorrow's
see
game.
go into extra time, and they can get 2 goals in extra time, maybe.
Yeah, so that's tomorrow's game. The last game in the quarterfinals is Spain versus Belgium. We got Trossard versus Dav. Well, David Raya won't play, right? He can't get a game. Will there be any Arsenal players starting for Spain? Probably not.
Marino.
Well, he came on. He came on as sub in that game, but he won't start.
Yeah, maybe not start, but will probably feature. he's very important to that team. And
Yes.
I think that I think Spain have a good chance of getting to the final.
Oh, I think that they can win the competition. So
Exactly. I was once short of saying it because of
Yeah.
England are in there, but
Yeah.
they're a good bet to win the whole thing.
I think France have taken all of the headlines, but Spain are just quietly going about their
Uh,
business.
uh,
You know?
I mean, it picks up every round that they haven't allowed a goal yet. But, I mean, they're definitely going to allow a goal this game.
Yeah, they will. Do you think they'll give a goal up against Belgium?
Yep. Probably will be assist to Mr. Tressard.
Yeah, listen, I think Belgium are probably the most cohesive team. Like when you think about the sum of the parts being together, Belgium looked like a really good team, but I think Spain has a little bit too much going forward. So I'm going to go for Spain. I think Stan's going for Spain also, right?
Um,
And
I'll go
Tony.
with the Belgian.
All right. You'll go with the Belgians. Okay. I think Stan's
Uh,
going with
uh,
Spain. Which Arsenal player is going to win the World Cup? Or players? David Raya? Declan Rice? You going Declan Rice?
Daka. Madueke comes back a World Cup winner.
Saliba.
Yeah, Saliba's got a great chance with France, but you know, I think France and Spain are the favorites, and then it's really anybody's on the other side: Argentina, England, or Norway. I just can't see
Yeah,
Norway getting to a final, but you never know with Haaland, you know.
Yeah, he's
All right,
different.
we can wind it up here unless you got anything else to say. You
No.
know,
you'll definitely have to watch the message I sent you and watch that Nike advert. It's a
we'll
very
do.
good advert.
We'll do indeed, Tony. Uh, two podcasts in one evening for you.
Yeah, and a day I totally felt like crap too because I took an injection for my Crohn's and arthritis, and basically my whole body was spasming, especially my small intestines. I had to
Uh,
cancel two doctor's appointments I had today after a heart stress test yesterday. So, Tony always fill it up, even though he's ill.
no sick, no Tony here. Remember, it
Yeah.
used to be sick, no to Anderson, that Spurs player. Marino will win the World Cup.
You might
Tony,
see me
It's
broadcast
not
from a
England, are they?
hospital, but
what-
you won't catch me in my bed eating pizza though.
I can't imagine what you're alluding to at all. Um,
Lawrence of Arabia.
they're not in the World Cup. Saudi Arabia's not in the World Cup. Tony, thanks for joining. It was good to see you, mate.
Yep.
We didn't even get to the Premier League fixture list, which we're not going to do. But we do know everybody plays each other twice. Okay.
Yeah.
Tony putting the midnight oils.
And
Yeah.
it matters that we play in Linden a lot.
What it matters. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Tony burned the midnight oil. Stan, good to catch up also.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Good night, everyone. See you later.
Enjoy that one. See you later, everybody. We're out of
Good
here.
night, Tony, after 3.5 hours of Tony.
We'll see which Arsenal player is happiest at the end of this month. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the
Good night,
games.
Tony.